Welcome back once again to the VCT Game Changers APAC Academy September edition. My name is Gremmyz and joining me here today is Zach. How are you feeling today?
Hello, I'm very happy to be here, especially with somebody as cool as Grammy. And we're pretty excited to be casting the finals as well as the lower bracket finals for this month's edition of Game Changers Academy. And we had quite a run for most of these teams. It's been some really polished matches, very quick matches most of the time, for lack of a better word. But I think that I think that today's games it's going to be like pretty intense, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, definitely. So let's take a look at the brackets here for a bit. So yesterday we did cover the upper round three upper bracket finals as well as the lower bracket semi-finals. Ohana Excelsior actually making it to the lower bracket finals after beating out Hurricanes yesterday, as well as No Game Sense actually making it to the grand finals after beating out ChickenKebab, who are going to be playing against Ohana Excelsior here. That's going to be the first matchup for today: ChickenKebab against Ohana Excelsior. And both these teams, we've seen them play yesterday already. ChickenKebab, they have a bit of, I would say, not so meta based playstyle. They have Absolutes, who is an absolutely terrifying Reyna player when they were playing against No Game Sense yesterday on Haven. And they managed to pull off a couple of good rounds, but ultimately I think the team composition didn't really allow them to play as flexibly as No Game Sense did, which is why they're now gonna be up against Ohana Excelsior, who actually beat out Hurricanes on the map of Ascent yesterday, 13-10. So both these teams coming into this, I think there's a lot of potential, and they're looking really really good for this.
You're definitely right there. Before I talk more about it, though, let's take a look at what these teams have been fighting for over the course of the last couple of days. This is the prize pool. The first place will be walking away with $250 USD. The second one will be 150. And third and fourth will each get $50. Now, Academy is a nice little initiative that I think is pretty exclusive to APAC, where at least in the manner that it's conducted, where only players below Plat 3 can really participate. So it gets players from female and marginalized genders who are new to the game or just starting out, who want to start playing competitively but have no idea to start. It's a good platform for them to like really manage to find their footing and see how exactly the competitive life suits them. And I think that we've actually had some players from Academy move on to play in the main VCT before, so it's definitely working, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. There's been a few names I recognized when I was looking at the VCT, the actual main circuit for the VCT game changes, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Seeing these players go from playing the academy tournaments into the official tournaments, it's just amazing to see them how they improve throughout the months.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I think even if they don't make it to the playoffs, right? Even in the group stages,
Yeah.
they still manage to win at least a couple of matches. So seeing how competitive the VCT Opens and all the other tournaments in that circuit tend to get, it's amazing that players who start off like flat three or below are able to like really hold their own against that. And I think it's a great initiative because when it's month on month, you will always have like a training circuit for new talents to come in and really try their hand at competitive environment. So I think it's one of the best things that APAC Game Changers really has to offer for not just players but also like casters. I think because Grimmy and I we both started there, so look where we are now.
I mean, definitely a good initiative indeed. And I do think, back again to the brackets, the winners, the grand final, one of the grand finalists, No Game Sense. I do think they have a lot of potential. Looking at the way that they play, sure they might not be as skilled mechanically to be able to like play in maybe the main circuit, but looking at the utility usage and their team composition and how they play off of each other, I think they have a lot of potential.
I mean, they've been stomping the brackets from what I could see. They've been having like the only game that was relatively close was against ChickenKebab. I think that was like a 13-8, but everything else it's been more or less like a almost a stomp. I would say like there was a 13-3 somewhere. I don't know. They've just been dominating the brackets since they started their run. So I think that there's a reason why they're the team in that grand final that we're going to be seeing after this matchup today. But talking about the first map, which is going to be Kebab versus Ohana Excelsior. So like you mentioned, Ohana Excelsior, they have managed to win before. Yesterday on the same map, or at least on Ascent. But today we're going to be heading into Icebox, which is an entirely different game. And I think the last time that these two teams did face off, Chicken Kebab on Icebox, if I'm not wrong, Chicken Kebab were able to beat them. So this is kind of like a revenge matchup, you know? Both of these teams are facing off for the second time in this tournament on the same map. This time, though, who will come out on top? Because last time it was Chicken Kebab who managed to find the victory. Will Ohana Excelsior be able to get revenge? That's going to be the question that I think everybody watching is going to be asking themselves.
And Icebox, what do you think about Icebox? What do you think we're gonna see in terms of like maybe team compositions?
I mean, I hope we see a Reina, that's for sure. I haven't seen Reina really pull out on this map since like Tens played it like a year ago. But Reina part, I think we'll definitely be seeing a Viper, most likely be seeing a Sova. These two are like agents that you very rarely see Icebox being played at. I've played without, I guess you'll see either a Sage or a KO, and most likely a Chamber. And of course, that Duelist. Sometimes you do really see that Duelist being replaced with another Initiator like KO, but I think most of the time the comp is pretty stable. It's Jet, sometimes Reyna, but mostly Jet. You have that Chamber, who everybody likes because, you know, free operator, yay. Viper, Sova, and either Sage or Q. I think that's what we'll be seeing. Not much in terms of meta changes when it comes to Icebox, at least.
I mean, Zach, I think you may get your wish because yesterday Chicken Kebab, when they were playing against No Game Sense, their main duelist was a Reina, and that was their only duelist. So I'm excited to see whether or not they will pull out the same solo duelist Reina setup again here, since their Reina player Absolute was insane. I kid you not, she was insane.
I mean, I didn't really watch as much as I would like, but I went through like some of the VODs before today, and I completely agree with you. I think whenever Reina players do pop up, they're either really insane or it's very disappointing because Reina is an agent like that, right? It's purely aim and
Yeah.
skill based. Like if you don't manage to pop off and if you don't manage to get those skills, your utility is gonna be basically useless. Because I know she has a blind, but let's face it, the Lear it gets instantly broken these days. So her main potential is being able to get those pop off multi frags one after the other, and you know going as she gets like an ace on that ever. So yeah, I think she's one of those agents where you either pop off or you don't. And I think that like you mentioned, the Reina forward side of Chicken Kebab definitely a pop off Reina.
And I mean, in terms of team composition, I do think Ohana Excelsior they will tend to play a bit more meta based. So I do think we're gonna be seeing the Viper and the Sova as you mentioned. And in terms of Sentinels, though, I think Sage. Do you think Sage is a necessary pick for Icebox itself, or do you think she can be replaced by another agent like a K or something?
So when Icebox came out, Sage got a lot of pick rate because of that tube, right? There was no chamber then. Cypher, he wasn't really good for the entire map, though you did see a little bit of play. And, but before the map reworks came in, it was really, really hard to plant on either side without a Sage in your pocket. So I think that's the reason why she saw like such a high pick rate. But since Chamber came out, you've been able to like get over the walling the tube problem by just putting down a trademark instead. So that's something that he managed to find a lot of value with. Not just the fact that you know he's insane and he can get kills out with an operator and he's basically a duelist, but also the fact that he can just take care of tube by himself. Second thing about Sage is with the reworks coming in, you still have safe angles to plant in, and you don't have to worry so much about being able to get the spike down. It's still nice that wall gives you like an additional bit of security. You can leap up on it, catch the enemy by surprise. All those things are there, but I think that you can do without it. You do see quite a few teams in the main VCT running a team comp where there is no Sage. They like to go in for that KO instead, like I mentioned, because you get a lot more information. That null command is incredibly powerful. You also see whenever people do take up that duelist, they replace Jet or they go for a raise instead. They like to run that fade as well. So you see like a Swa fade or a fade KO combo coming in. So I think that might be a possibility as well. But I was looking through the stats and I don't think either of these duelists from these teams really plays raise on this particular map. So I think it's mostly going to be a Jet Arena.
How likely do you think we'll see double duelist?
Likely not so much. I hope so, yes, but I think that we've speculated enough. We're going to be heading right into Agent Select, so let's see if our predictions are right or wrong for today. Oh. Okay, there we go. There's Arena.
I mean, we do have the Viper, as you mentioned, the Jet on the side of Ohana Excelsior, and the Reina pick coming in once again for Chicken Kebab. Actually going in for a double initiated composition this time, Fade and Sova. So they're doing without a KO that you mentioned, but they have a lot of information on their hands with that Fade and Sova combination.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they're gonna be working in the Fate. They're running the Killjoy instead of the Chamber, which has both its advantages and disadvantages. Killjoy's utility is much more useful for really like locking down a site, but uh, you're gonna be stuck there. You're not gonna be able to rotate. You're gonna be forced to play as an anchor basically, unless you're like revolving around the mid area because your utility is so region locked. So I think that might be both an advantage and a disadvantage. But this Fade is what really interests me. Coming in for the side of chicken
Choose your
kebabs. Maybe
agent.
it's because of the fact that they're on attack, so the prowlers can find a lot of value. The lineups that are absolutely insane. So that does know that.
I mean, have you seen that the one C's lineup where it just catches you like at the choke point
Yeah,
in
yeah,
A and then you go
Neck-
flying. You actually go flying. It's so funny to watch.
I don't know if they fixed it yet, but yeah, I've seen that video. It's insane. Like you throw it up, and then if somebody's around nest or something, it just grabs them and like yanks them up. You can't do anything. You're just helpless. You're just there to shoot them. So I wonder if we see that, I will be very very happy to subscribe for this because I haven't seen that in an actual game so far. I would love to see it. I'm just mean that way.
I'm just thinking about the whether or not we actually see that lineup coming through. But Ohana Excelsior, they're going in for this, I guess, more meta pick agent composition on the side of on the map of Icebox itself. Sage and Chamber combination. The Sage really good for those safe plants, especially if maybe like going in for an A or especially on the B side plant where you can just get swarmed by like so many people when you're planting. But starting out on a defense, you're gonna be leaning. The Sage is gonna be leaning towards the A side
There.
itself, and
There.
that could be a very key to countering this aggressive push that might be coming out from Chicken Kebab. It seems like going for this 5 stack towards the A side.
Oh yeah, they've decided the A side is where they want to go. Is where they're gonna be setting their eyes as they go forward. You already see them walking up, all 5 of them, in fact, and it's gonna make for an intriguing thing. That Alarmbot is there for a late flank. However, it's not gonna really watch towards belt if somebody decides to flank from there. The Prowler finding some early info that there is a player towards backside. That wall going to deny much in the way of aggression, and that recon bolt will be pushing the one player that made it forward back. In the meantime, though, look at Shimo's position. The Chamber has already walked up towards mid. It's not going to be pushing further because the turret is going to give away that position, but Superbad might be the first person to walk into Shimo's crosshairs. Ooh, putting down that trademark might have caused a sound, and Superbad tries to aggress off the back of that, but Shimo's going to be the one to find that first blood instead. Absolute, so they strike back, able to find that shot onto Nora, getting that overheal, and now the Reyna's at 150. How are you going to take down that Reyna? Spike goes down, and now a 3v4 retake for the side of Ohana Excelsior.
Adversary picking up one on the counterpart Chicken Kebab though.
One enemy remaining.
I suppose another. Oh, it seems like the trade's becoming in the favor of Ohana Excelsior right now. Momo just trying to do what she can, but unfortunately she's eventually gonna fall to Shimo, who picks up the pistol round for her team, Ohana Excelsior.
Teleport's ready.
Excellent that they found the first, because this is a revenge match of Ohana Excelsior. They've already lost to Chicken Kebab once before, and they really don't want a repeat of this fate, because this is the lower bracket. There is no more second chances available for either team. The winner goes on to the final, and well, the loser is just going to be third or fourth place for them. So they really don't want to risk letting it slip out of their hands, and I really gotta admire them, because Ohana Excelsior, they as soon as the spike went down, they were ready for that retake. They just didn't give Chicken Kebab any time to get into their post-plan positions, and they just pushed on. They were able to trade out very effectively, and I think that Shimo finding that first pick down towards mid is extremely crucial, because there was no fade utility really available to try and stop the diffuser, find some information. Off the back of that, though, I think that this time it's going to be a little bit of noise made towards B, but that Marshall strikes Absolute is going to go down, and that's going to be the duelist off the board for Chicken Kebab here.
So instantly, aggression being stopped. Tao doesn't seem the one to give up this angle towards this cross here, and the players of Ohana, the Chicken Kebab, they're somewhat aware of this, so they're not really gonna go exploring too far too deep as of yet. Super bad though. Seems to want to go hit towards mid, maybe try and find a little bit of information there where actually two players playing towards the mid position. Could be a dangerous situation, but Tao picking up another once again. Barrier up to come through. Once again, the aggression coming in from ChickenKebab.
I mean, that's going to be yet another player falling. Just two left right now. At least they are in control of the spike, but they don't have much to work with in the name of utility. And already, adversary has made their way over towards the spawn, able to find one. Can they connect the second? Is going to be the question. Get the headshot in. Very, very low. And yeah, that's going to be the last nail in the coffin for the side of ChickenKebab over the course of this anti-eco here. And I think it's a flawless for Ohana Excelsior to top things off. So they're going to be keeping all of their weapons, such as the March and those features heading into this particular round. Adversary as well, with the help of those two kills, is going to have enough money to possibly buy in a Vandal if they want to. But it seems like they're debating, okay, do I do it? Should I risk it? Because we've seen so many of these bonus rounds really like flip over just because of the fact that a rifle or a Spectre was dropped and, you know, a Reyna picks it up, for example. It could go pretty badly. Either way, though, it is going to be the full buy coming in right now for the side of ChickenKebab, and they're choosing to stake their claim towards the mid area instead. That Haunt not going to spot anybody towards mid, but nevertheless, there are two players watching. So if they decide to go forward through that Viper's smoke, they might be caught by these two players, the Sage and the Viper, who are already spraying into the smoke to prevent any kind of incursions really coming in. It's going to slow down the push, but not really completely halting it, because ChickenKebab, well, it seems like they want to go in for presence towards that tube area instead. I think Nora has spotted that out, though. Oof.
Absolute's the first to find first blood onto adversary. That's the Sova down. No more information for the side of Ohana, Excelsior, and Nora spots out a couple more players towards mid as well. But the B side already being stormed by these players of ChickenKebab as the spike makes its way towards the side. Viper, Namhongi taking out two of her own, and Absolute is good for another. And suddenly, the tides have turned. Ohana, Excelsior, just last player alive here. The Spectre in hand. Not gonna find much as Absolute 3 kills in the round, flawless round coming through for ChickenKebab to bring them the first point on the board.
I think right now that's going to leave Absolutes with the Empress ready as well if she chooses to, and they're going to be keeping all of their rifles, steadily building up the economy over the course of this map. And economy is such an important factor on a map like Icebox because, you know, on other maps where you don't have to really take these long range fights, you can get away perhaps with using something like a Judge or a Spectre or something. You can actually try to make the round work, but on Icebox it's so crucial to have these Vandals or at least a rifle in place if you really want to take these long range engagements and do your best to do so. This time though, it's going to be Ohana Excelsior not only with the full buy but also with that operator, I think, already finding value. It's going to be the Killjoy who's the first blood right now. Ohana Excelsior, they're going to be able to aggress, find that, and then fall back. And in the meantime, Super Bad on the lurk manages to get the trade. Things are back down to a 4v4, and ChickenKebab's push, well, it's slowed down but not entirely stopped.
But Tao already making her way towards the B side. Nora spotting out one of the players rotating towards B as well. It's already here, spots out one, but unfortunately shot does not connect. Toxic screen to come through as well as a plant. It's gonna go down on this B side. Nora spraying through this smoke to find what she can, but Absolute though trying to go aggressive here beyond this wall of safety. The toxic screen is hiding in this close corner. Nora, she has to check it. Unfortunately, she's gonna fall adversary, and Nora pick up kills of their own, and Tao good for another whip. That operator all up to Super Bad, who found the first pick in the round, but will she be able to close it out? A barrier orb is already coming through as well as a defuse, and she's gonna get taken down by that operator of Tao's. So Ohana Excelsior, they respond back in favor. Another point on the board for them.
This was beautiful coming in from Tao. Gets that first pick, knows that it's probably going to trigger a rotation because you really don't want to try and push into an operator, especially when you don't have proper utility to try and clear it out. They don't have a Sova drone, they don't have a proper flash because the layer gets instantly broken. So the rotation from Tao was so pivotal here because it immediately caused a lot of trouble coming in for the ChickenKebab players. They really were just struggling to get onto side, and after that, it completely demolished their idea of post plan because this is a team that really likes to get aggressive in their post plan. You saw that the last round from the Reyna, how how they went all the way over to the CT, were able to find 2 picks off the back of that. But that kind of idea, that kind of play is completely stopped in its tracks with the help of that operator. And I think that's a major key reason why Ohana Excelsior were able to walk away with that round. Off the back of that, though, I don't know, ChickenKebab has the economy for another buy. They should, but it might be a little bit broken. And this is a good timeout to call because at this point, Ohana Excelsior, they're going to be feeling very confident. ChickenKebab have to figure out how exactly they can deal with that operator and really try to make these rounds work going forward because their utility, well, it's looking a little bit difficult for them.
I mean, they do have the Viper split this time around to try and counter that operator.
You have to get onto site. That's the main problem for them right now. But I agree. If they can get that Viper spit down, it might be a condition. They also do have that lockdown, so it could be used to push all these players off the side at the very least. So they have 2 pivotal ults to work with for this round. Already it seems like that's going to be the battle plan as they head towards this A side with help of that lockdown. Possibly the operator swinging wide this time. Tao not able to find much value off the back of it. Still not afraid to get aggressive though, peeking out and might be rewarded for it. But second time around, it's going to be 2 less time to really hit that shot again. And off the back of that, there's going to be enough space for that lockdown to be committed. However, you see that Nora isn't afraid to get aggressive. Gets spotted out by the Joan, and with the help of that counter Joan and that Sova out, so much value being found right now. 2 for 1. Absolute is able to trade it out, but still, at least when it comes to manpower, the advantage is still in the hands of Ohana Excelsior, who are now in this retake position. The question is, will this drone clear out? Absolute, yes it does, and off the back of that, Shimo is able to find that pick. Moments tag, still manages to take down Tall. Just 2 players left right now. Make that 1. It's all down to just the Sova. No Hunter's Fury to really work with. Has to hit these shots. But unfortunately, it's going to be Shiloh who finds the better of them instead. Ohana Excelsior 4-1 right now.
Nora's Sage utility is really good to watch. I'm looking at it, a barrier orb to cover the left side of the 410, and a slow orb to slow any push from coming in. Because what a barrier orb does is it kind of funnels the players of ChickenKebab to going towards that other side of 410 to a right side, and the slow orb just kind of shuts that down completely if they don't break the barrier orb.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that I think the Viper went down before they could really get the pit online, so perhaps they didn't want to invite things, but the buy is going to be a bit broken this time around from the side of team ChickenKebab. You do see an Ares of all things for the Killjoy. Reina, she'll still be able to get that Vandal to play with, and I think that it is going to be the B side they're funneling to this time, and yet again Tall with the operator is ready to go, misses the shot and tries to desperately stay alive here, able to dodge out on that Ares spray, takes a little bit of damage but is still going to be alive if nothing else. Goes forward yet again with the operator despite all of this and manages to find the shot. Adversary with the backup 2 already on the round right now for Ohana Excelsior, and they're still peeking, they're still fighting, trying to get these shots. ChickenKebab able to trade out the Sova. That's gonna be it. The last 2 players, they're stuck right now towards this B air approach here. The Viper does get spotted out, but yet again the operator strikes 3 again for Tall. 1 more left to find, and Nampongi, well, surrounded on all sides. It's going to be Shiloh who says, look, I can be the only Viper in this particular round. No more for you. And Ohana Excelsior, they are completely snowballing their lead right now, 5-1.
That shot onto Absolute was insane. Tao just keeping her cool even as she's being pushed by so much utility and so much spam with that Ares especially, and still landing that headshot onto Absolute. That was very really clean coming in from her. But this time around though, ChickenKebab, they do have rifles except for Superbad, who's actually running with the classic this time around. And Tao once again holding this belt position, looks away just a little bit too early, and this is a shot onto Absolutes. ChickenKebab players are gonna be pushing up towards the A side here, and Nora stalling them, waiting for the rotations to come through as well from Ohana Excelsior.
Here.
It's so deadly silent right now. All this utility being dumped, but the noise has completely been cut. And I know Ohana Excelsior might not know that these players are still here, but that's gonna be the information queue they need. And they still have a 3-stack towards the site. You can see Absolute spraying desperately for life, doing so much damage, but still going to be adversary finding the pick as that kill comes through, the reload comes in, and unfortunately Absolute is going to be going down the first pick yet again, going for Ohana Excelsior the second as well. The operator is singing as Tall manages to find one and still gets aggressive. It's going to be ChickenKebab who finally finds one before being traded out, and yet again it's going to be just these two remaining players, Namhongi and Momers. But that alarm bot is going to give away Shimo's position, being able to take it down 2v3. It's a much more manageable situation. Already you can see adversary and one more player running for the rotation towards his B side, and either they go towards A, they manage to go back towards A, or they walk into Taw's operator yet again. Unfortunately, that is going to be Momers going down. With 10 seconds left, Namogi has to make a choice. Either they run towards the A side or they keep hold on to this gun for the next round, because the economy is not great right now, and with no time left, it is going to be the save coming through. ChickenKebab, they managed to hold on to that Viper's Pit and that rifle, but at the cost of letting Ohana Excelsior really build up that lead. And look at this. This is so unfortunate. It reminds me of all my competitive games and sprays, and how I miss all I spray, I don't hit anything, but my opponent sprays like 3 bullets and they get a headshot through a spray. That's what that reminds me of.
30 seconds left.
It's like, the debate between the Vandal and the Phantom, and then you have the Vandal spray just drawing a rainbow circle around your opponent.
Little heart, like, hello there.
There.
Oh, I feel really
Goodbye
bad.
once again, though. ChickenKebab, and Aries coming through. Maybe able to find some value this time around. Adversary, you're gonna get spotted out. 50 health. Once again, but Tao is there for the backup in case the pace of ChickenKebab decide to go aggressive towards this mid position. But seems like once again A is the place that they want to go exploring here.
Just walking up with that sheriff, because of the fact that there's been no real noise, that Sagewell has been invested this time around. That Haunt though is going to give away the information that it is going to be this A side that's under attack. Absolutes gets spotted out but manages to stay alive. But look at this again, quick rotation coming in right now from these players from Ohana Excelsior. Tall with the operator denying the spike plant right now, and the backup is there. They're quick to get these trades, quick to get these kills. Tall's just a distraction. Adversary is the one you have to watch out for. They're the real adversary, and between the two of them, they managed to clean up the round. A flawless yet again for Ohana Excelsior. And this round, everybody was focused on Todd. The operator got one, but after that, everybody was watching this angle, and adversary took full advantage of that to really just walk up and find every other kill. Beautiful hold from Ohana Excelsior.
I feel like this round is just an illustration of why you kind of need a Sage to get a safe plant down. Because if you try to force a plant without really holding that rafters angle, you're gonna get shot by an operator like that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's a very questionable plant when you don't have entire side control. Nobody really even went for the backside. They just said, okay, let's just go for the plant. But yeah, Tao managed to swing and find a kill right off the back of that. I think yet again, it's going to be a buy coming in for the side of ChickenKebab, who are very patient this time, walking up towards B instead, not making any noise. Nora is going to be the first point of contact. Spots out that turret, will be moving away before it really connects, and if they don't clear this yellow, it's going to be so dangerous right now. Already being able to find one, doing a lot of damage before finally going down. The lurk towards mid is going to be taken down as well. So that is going to be ChickenKebab with 3 players left to Ohana Excelsior's 4, and Woods is so low right now. 11 HP to her name, making things so difficult. The one good thing that's going in their favor is they managed to find North. That's going to be no more resurrection available, but who needs a resurrection when you have someone like Shimo able to find these headshots? Shimo, knowing that perhaps that they're really low HP, just 1 bullet away, are going to be opting to play with that tour de force instead of their actual gun, because the tour de force is a one-shot weapon. And with these last 2 players, what exactly can they do here? They are going towards that A side, but already there are 2 from the side of Ohana Excelsior who have been excellent with these quick rotates so far. They have both their ults available, but I don't think they're going to be able to find much with the last 20 seconds left. It might just be better for them to possibly go for a save.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I don't think the players of Ohana Excelsior really want to let them do that. Though we already see adversary coming in from the back. Displays the chicken kebab. They're gonna be surrounded really soon. The 2-1 hits and mark on the chicken kebab, and suddenly it's all up to Momo, who can't do anything but fall to adversary who's coming in from the flank, and it's 8 points on the board for Ohana Excelsior.
A flawless yet again. Not a flawless, sorry. Almost flawless, only losing one player out. And at this point, I don't even have to look at their economy to know it's thriving. They're probably going to be able to buy like every look at adversary, 8k in the bank and everything else besides. They also have 3 ultimates to their name. That Hunter Sphere is going to be ready to go again. And they're only 2 away from that Viper's Pit as well. As for the side of ChickenKebab, they do have 4 ultimates, but not much in the way of economy. And this is very interesting because they've had this Viper's Pit and this lockdown for the last like 4 or 5 rounds, and they've just not been able to use it. They've been holding on to it for a very long time. And in this eco, I don't know if it's going to be the round where they finally commit it. Yet again, Ta is going to be the person to try and be as a barricade for this approach coming in, finding that first pick again. Time and time again, ChickenKebab, they're not using utility to really clear out these crucial angles. Now, perhaps they don't have the economy, or this time around, at least it might not be a question of economy, but Ta is just finding so much value with that help of that operator. And as soon as his first blood comes in, yet again, you can see how quick the rotation is. 2 players come to reinforce the site, but it is going to be moment with that Aries able to find 2 somehow. Ta is going to be coming back though, has the Blade Storm pop, finally thinking that, look, I know the operator is good, but let me show you what I can do with the Blade Storm. And it's going to be a 3v4 right now.
Here. Noting down the position of Superbad though, that waiting for the cross here, and Momo, she's down to a sliver of health, and Superbad, I think she's aware that there's an operator holding this position and she doesn't really want to try and go for rotate, but the spy is going to be making its way towards this B site. The resurrection to come through though, when Shilu shuts down Superbad, so numbers advantage secured for Ohana Excelsior as the spike plan is going to go down safely onto this B side. The retake rotations coming through as well from the CT position.
Yeah, they do at least get the spike down, which is a definite plus over the last 4 or 5 rounds that we've seen. But almost all the players for the side of Ohana Excelsior are alive. They have a lot of utility to work with, and these players only have sheriffs to really work. And yet again, that barrier orb is going to prove to be so pivotal right now. The Blade Storm managing to find 1, but that shot from ChickenKebab is going to be able to find the trade, but that's going to be all because that barrier orb is yet again going to let these players really find the diffuse. And off the back of that, it's going to be a 9th round for Ohana Excelsior, who are steamrolling ChickenKebab on this map so far. On defense, they look absolutely impeccable right now. They've only lost 1 round, and that was the full buy, which I think ChickenKebab really had. They had Spectres and Sheriffs to play with against the rifles, but once they got rifles into their hands, they haven't lost a single round. And more than the rifle, I think it can be attributed to the operator from Ta, which I think consistently round after round is able to find at least 1, and usually like a multi-kill.
This time around though, ChickenKebab, they want to switch it up a little bit, going towards this B side, but they're gonna get spotted out by Nora.
You should run.
So with the rotations coming in, the lockdown to come through, secure this space onto the site for a plant.
Nobody really choosing to play on site. They are going to be committing all the ults they have right now to try and make this round work. The spike, it goes down, but I think that the Hunter's Fury has already tagged up 1 player. Not going to be able to find a kill, but they still managed to get that first damage in at the very least. A full 5v5 retake is what we're looking at. That he's managing to hold on to Ta here, and they have to deal with all of this utility. I think that the Hunter's Fury is also available, and oh no, the Odin and the Snakebite are finding so much value. She will finally able to trade out, but the utility being dumped in this Viper's Pit right now is so crucial. Adversary able to take down Namogi though, so that's going to be the Viper's Pit at least tonight, and now they're working their way over up towards this yellow. 1v3 left to find, gets 1, knows the position of the second, but there's no time, and well, Momot is going to be able to find that last pick, and finally after I think 7 rounds of losses, it is going to be ChickenKebab able to get their second on the board. Sure, they had to use 2 ultimates to do it, but they still have both that Nightfall as well as that Hunter's Fury left to go. So if they can find 1 more round, they might be able to, and put up a strong defense, they might be able to make a comeback. Might.
I mean, 2 operators. Okay, never mind. Towers. Switching back to the Yeah, she has enough money for both. I'm not gonna question it anymore. But two operators on the side of Ohana, Excelsior, so no matter where these players of Chicken Kebab go, there's gonna be a big gun with a very long barrel staring directly at them, which how deciding to fall off this angle. The timing not going so well for her, but the Viper's Pit committed down on this A site. Spots out the turret, so she's aware that Mama she's heading towards the belt. And upon hearing this the operator shots, rotation's gonna come through, but forces them right into the crosshair of Shimo, who picks up one onto Mama. Gonna go in for more. Ooh, it was close. Almost hits the mark on the Namhongi as well. Oh, but okay.
Okay.
It was so close. Oh no, the timing just not working out in Super Bad's favor, but Namhongi lands a headshot onto Shimo. That's an operator down on the side of Ohana. Excelsior, one more to go, but Shiloh picks up another towards the A site as well.
30 seconds left.
Oh, that layer is gonna save the Planter's life as Tall will be forced to fall back. However, Adversary will still be able to find both as they come on flank. And Adversary has proven to be the true adversary right now for Chicken Kebab. Finding so much rally. I want to look at the kill feed, but I think that she's almost at 20 right now, if I'm not wrong. So off the back of that, Ohana Excelsior, they're gonna have an extremely successful first half, 10-2, and they're definitely showing that, look, we might have lost to you last time, but we've done our homework, we've done our prep, and we know how to play this map so that we can win it. Look at this replay. You know, it's bad enough when you have to contend with one operator. I don't think they expected Shimo to really pull out that second, but it's the last one. You know, what are you gonna do with all the money? You might as well, you know, get that operator online, and that's exactly what Shimo might have. Adversary with the flank, able to find those two, that's just huge right now, because the distraction, yeah, 19-5. That's like an almost 40 game.
I'm just thinking, like, how? That's okay. I'm not gonna question it. If you add up both her kills and her assists, she's gonna have like one kill assist every single two kills or assists every single round, and that's so much impact being brought as a Sova player. But it seems like this time around, Ohana Excelsior on their pistol, they're going to go for his Fox execute onto this A side already. Off the back of this Owl Drone, Tao picks up one absolute for the trade. And Prowler coming through, trying to push these players of Ohana Excelsior off of this angle. The barrier up to come through though from Ohana Excelsior, but Absolute picks up another onto Nora as well. Shiloh trying to do what she can, but Absolute is going on an absolute roll right now. Can she find another one onto... Sorry, that's the question. Down to the 1v1 between... Oh, what's out the hand? But Absolute is the one who takes her down. 11 points on the board for Ohana Excelsior as they secure the second pistol round of the game.
I feel really bad for Absolutes here because she did so much. She found 3 picks and was constantly taking those fights, but unfortunately she had to go in for that reload, and Adversary found the timing, especially this second kill onto Mumertz. That was fantastic because they knew that the turret was probably going to come out any second. Adversary knew that they had to get aggressive there, and they were really able to just capitalize on the pandemonium going down on that site and find that last pick, and that just might be the demise of the hopes of the side of Chicken Kebab. They are forcing into this particular round, and there is going to be that gun towards mid. The Ares already able to find one yet again. Mumertz with the Ares is going to be the player that strikes, but the spike plants is still nevertheless going to go down here. 2 players though towards this B area are going to be trying to find value, and despite Namhogi able to find that headshot, it's not going to be enough here. Adversary yet again holding these pivotal angles, preventing the rotations, finding the lurks here, and it's going to come down to the 3 remaining players from Chicken Kebab to really try and make this diffuse work. They don't know the positions. They know that there's a player towards mid, but that's going to be it. Tao is going to be found out as well as they find that kill onto Super Bad. Just the Ares and the Spectre left. Chicken Kebab being taken down by this crossfire. It's all down to just Mumertz, who does a lot of damage, but is not going to be able to close out the kill. And off the back of that, Ohana Excelsior, they get to match point and locking in their slot in that grand final. More than that, though, I think that the economy right now is almost hopeless for the side of Chicken Kebab, and well, I don't think any of us expected this match to be this dominant of a show from them.
Timeout coming through for the side of Chicken Kebab to try and stem the bleeding, but with 12 points, match point already given to Ohana Excelsior, it's gonna be a really tall task from here on out because you can't afford to make any more mistakes.
I mean, that's true. They're gonna have to find 10 rounds in a row somehow against a dominant performance being shown by Ohana Excelsior. They have to find 10 rounds and they have to do it. Each round they're gonna have to try and build up the economy. They can't afford to lose too many players. They have to deal with ultimates coming in from ChickenKebab. I think some of the players are actually close to theirs despite being only 2 rounds into this half, and they have a lot to work with. It's a very difficult situation right now. We've seen teams do it before, of course, like teams like Orangutan, they managed to pull off like 11-1 half. They managed to come back from that and win in overtime. But 12-2, I'm not sure. That pistol was their last chance, honestly, to really try and mount a proper comeback. But with that slipping out of their hands, ChickenKebab, they're looking at a very steep hill to climb right now.
Odin. Uh
Take them
oh.
off.
Is that... Oh no. She wants to gun them all down.
She's not in the right. Is she in the right spot to do it? That's the question. Yep, she is. They're gonna be running forward. 3 players left, and I think Shimu might just be happy to hold this particular angle with the Odin. Already you can see the wallbang coming through. They're gonna hear the noise from that particular gun as the spray comes in, but these 3 players are not gonna be speaking into it really. Superbrat tries to get one with the Bucky, but Adversary is immediately gonna shut that down. The trade does come through, but Tall is too fast and too furious right now. Overheating a little bit though, as it's gonna be Moritz who managed to finally take him out. A 2v3 right now. At least Adversary's health is gonna be very low, and that's gonna enable Moritz to really find that pick. It's all down to just a Killjoy here in a 1v2 against the Odin, and it's gonna come down to which one is better, which gun has the is going to be more broken, and it's gonna be Shimu with the Odin closing it out. Like you mentioned, Gremmyz, that's gonna be the gun to watch out for, and Shimu fighting 2 off of it. It's going to get Ohana Excelsior their victory 13-2. I think that's the most dominant scoreline we've had over the course of this entire tournament so far. 25-6
So. 25-6. How?
on a
How do you
Sova.
do this? Okay. This adversary just went on a roll, and Tao with its support as well. That operator of hers finding so much value in the defending rounds especially.
Insane, yeah. Like every single round that the operator was online, if they went to that site without fail, they managed to get a kill. But also the rotations coming in, I have to point out from Ohana Excelsior that they were beautiful around it. They find a pick, they twist the operator over, and they bring 2 players in to cover that instead. And this was constantly a theme throughout the match. So you think, okay, Taw is on the A side. We lost a player. Let's not walk into the operator yet again. And they go over to B, and guess what? Taw's just waiting for them to walk into her operator's crosshairs. And we've seen it happen so many times over the course of the map. A lot of the time, despite having so much utility to their name, you saw that ChickenKebab, they weren't really using it. They didn't use the Prowler as much. The drone really didn't get much usage, and the Lear as well. 1 or 2 times it was used, but I think a lot of utility was just not really utilized properly by the side of ChickenKebab, and that let Tao get away with so many of these cheeky operator kills. But adversary, well, that's just pure timing and talent.
Yeah, but ChickenKebab, I mean, Ohana Excelsior, they're gonna be making it to the grand finals here against No Game Sense once again in a best of 3. So that's gonna be a really exciting match to watch, because looking at the game from yesterday, No Game Sense, they actually performed super well once they got their footing against ChickenKebab especially, as well as Hurricanes. And I think Ohana Excelsior are gonna have a really tough game on their hands coming into this.
Well, at least they will be motivated, because when you're coming off a 13-2 win, you're going to be feeling very confident and pleased with yourself. The question is, will that translate into overconfidence or not? But before we head into the grand finals best of 3, we're going to be taking a short break, so stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, to September's edition of Valorant Game Changers Academy APAC. I'm Zahk, and with me here is Gremmyz, and we're going to be heading into the grand finals pretty soon for today's matchup. To recap on those who are just, for those of you who are just coming in, we did have the lower bracket final just before this. I think it was Ohana Excelsior versus ChickenKebab, and Ohana Excelsior dominating performance 13-2 on Icebox to be able to be the team that is going to be playing in the grand finals today. So Grammy, how are you feeling?
I'm super pumped up right now because after that insane game by Ohana Excelsior, they showed us why they deserve a spot in this grand final series, right? The best of three series against no game sense. And Ohana Excelsior coming into this, they should be feeling really confident right now, especially after such a dominant win. 13-2 scoreline is no small feat at all. And no game sense, well, I do think this is gonna be a very exciting matchup here.
Definitely going to be the case, but I think that we do have our map vetoes ready to go into pretty soon. But looking at the performance for both of these teams, right? I think that no game sense, they've had like a pretty dominant run over the last over the course of this tournament. Looking at the map select, it is going to be Ascent coming up number one, chosen by Ohana Excelsiors, which is a pretty interesting choice because they managed to. I think they did play it yesterday. They did manage to win 13-10 against Harry, coming off a victory on that particular map. So that is going to be confident. That is going to be some confidence coming in for them. This is an interesting choice from the side of I'm sorry, the decider is going to be mine. Before we talk about that fracture, it's going to be a really good choice coming in for no game sense, because this is a map where they had an almost as dominating performance as we saw today. It was 13-3, where they managed to really beat Hurricanes as well. So I think that they're going to be feeling very confident on both these maps.
I mean, Fracture itself is, it's such an exciting map, right? Because it gives you so much freedom to play the kind of strategies that you want to play based off the agent composition that you have. But Ascent for the first map, coming off of a win from yesterday, Ohana Excelsior against Hurricanes themselves, and they put up quite a strong performance as well, 13-10, and that means they do have, coming into this, they will have done their homework. They will have just a couple of strategies up their sleeves, and Ascent game here. I'm not too sure if No Game Sense have played this map before. I don't think so. So they coming into this game fresh, really fresh, because No Game Sense, they don't have as much experience as compared to Ohana Excelsior in this tournament playing Ascent, that is. So it's gonna be, in terms of agent compositions, what do you think we're gonna see?
I mean, Ascent, I really want to see a Phoenix. I've been watching Scream play it over the course of these last days in the VCT, and I've been extremely inspired, for lack of a better word, to see that Phoenix really popping off. Sure, situations where you all that stuff does happen, but there's a lot of value that it brings in, especially with the buffs coming in, both the flash and the ult. So I hope to see a Phoenix. I don't know if it's likely. Something else that I do see a lot is that Fade and Raze being the duelist, and I think we might be seeing that Fade bringing in particular. And I think that since it's a map where several team comps really work well, like you can run an Omen, you can run an Astra, both of them work really great. You can run like either a Solo or a Fade, or even both of them. You do see a KO coming in a lot of the time as well. And I think for Sentinels, I think you do see the Killjoy or the Chamber being picked almost equally. It used to be just Killjoy, but with that KO buff coming in, where that Fragment is able to break that lockdown and stuff, I think that you are seeing the Chamber pick rate increasing significantly. You also do see quite a bit of Sage coming in on this particular map, because that wall, it brings you like a lot of angle defense. So I think that because on a map like Ascent, there are so many agent comps that work. But what do you think was scary?
I think Raze and Fade is highly likely. I think we'll see at least one Fade. Hopefully, I want to see a Fade. Okay, then maybe that's just me. I just really want to see a Fade. And in terms of other initiators, I do think that KO is a very strong pick, especially since with that 0 point with the null command, you're just able to shut down so much utility that the Sentinels can have, like maybe a Killjoy, a Lambot, or turret. And that basically helps you open up the site, especially if you're coming in from the attack. And even on the defense, if you have the 0 point, you're able to gather information as well as kind of stall as much time as possible for your team to kind of rotate in, because once the 0 point hits the attackers, you can't really use your utility anymore, and that will basically, that means if you don't have your smokes down preemptively, you won't have smokes when you enter the site, and there's so many more angles for you to look out for, and it's gonna be very hard for you to hit a site in that sense. And I do think in terms of sentinels, I do want to see a killjoy, just because chamber. Okay, we've seen a lot of chamber recently. I mean, I've seen way too many chambers in my ranked games, and I'm a little bit tired of chamber just because of his, I guess, playstyle, which is, I think is, you really have to go in aggressive to make the most out of him. So I do want to see teams like kind of switch off of that, try to go in for maybe like a killjoy instead, or a cipher that we saw yesterday. A cipher on the map of Ascent itself. The cipher setups are so strong, and there was one round where the cipher player, I forgot who it was, she just clutched out a round based off her setup, the tripwires as well, the cyber cage itself. So I do think cipher, even though it's a bit of a niche pick and is not like played as much in the meta, I do think if you are able to play a cipher well, it can be really powerful as well.
Oh, definitely. There's just so much info that you get with that cipher pick, and of course, if you put your camera on the right spot, it's incredibly useful to really capitalize on and deny the plant coming through, for example. And we saw it on Haven as well. We see it on Haven more than any other map. Cipher still finds so much value. Haven and Fracture are the maps where the agent is usually picked these days. But how you've seen how that camera can disrupt a plant. It can give you so much information. You can wallbang off the back of that. So a lot of potential is there for the cipher for sure. So I would be very happy to see one, because I kind of miss him, man. Nobody picks him anymore. Everybody's just like chamber, yeah, free operator, yeah, tour de force, headhunter, whatever. But nobody gives our boy Cypher any love anymore. Even the Valorant trailers have stopped killing him off. But before we speculate more about Cypher, we are gonna be heading into Agent Select. So let's see what exactly these teams have in store for us heading into match number 1 of this grand final. And Grammy, let's go. You're gonna be getting that KO on Nora this time.
KO, okay. That's kind of a switch up, right? Because Nora was on stage, now she's on KO. It's KO. I do think he is a pretty aggressive initiator in the sense that he has the potential. He has a lot of potential to play as a duelist and support Tao, who has been amazing with her shots so far, and Shiloh actually picking up that killjoy. But on the other side, though, no game sense. Zenny already picking up that raise. I think this is a the race pick is a really comfortable pick for her, but I'm surprised in not picking up the fate off the back of the race though.
Select your agent.
Maybe they're just debating whether to do it or not, but a raise is just so much more powerful when you have that fade utility in conjunction with it. You really get to pull off those spicy combos. But I think that Zenny, nevertheless, like you mentioned, is a very competent race player just by herself. So looking at the comps here, it's going to be almost a mirror coming in. The duelist is going to be different, and of course you are going to be seeing the Astra instead of the Omen for the side of Ohana Excelsior. But apart from that, it's going to be a very similar agent comp for both these teams. Now it depends to be seen which team can really manage to find value with it. I think at the race pick, you're seeing it more and more on a map like Ascent, because ever since Fade came in, they've just been casually replacing the common jet or no duelist meta that's been running around quite a bit with that particular agent. It is going to be the side of No Game Sense starting off on defense here, and the killjoy is going to be posted up towards the B side or towards the mid area, if I'm not wrong, probably towards B side. So I think they're going to depend on her to solo lock down the side and probably go in for a 3-stack or something towards the A side, which just seems to be the case.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the case right here. There are 3 players towards the A side. I do think this is a pretty good call, and I really love how Killjoy, especially in the pistol round, can be so potent. Just off of her utility, you're able to kind of lock down or shut down, hold down a site, and even like other choke points as well as like mid, where you can place your alarm bot and you get information even if your alarm bot is destroyed. I mean, the only downside to Killjoy is that you have to play within the radius of your utility, but looking at how No Game Sense they're actually playing this Killjoy, you have a lot of potential to be playing from multiple angles here, but it seems like she's going to be playing off the side, contrary to the initial idea though. Ohana Excelsior, they seem to want to go in for this B execute, which is pretty interesting. Off the back of this fragment, already doing so much damage. All the members of Ohana Excelsior, except for the Astra, flooding onto the side, and they're gonna be able to get the spike plant down pretty easily.
It does leave the side of No Game Sense in a full 5-on-5 retake, and already the post-line positions coming in, they're really good right now. That nade is going to be immediately available because that it doesn't really strike tall though, and adversary with this cross, we're able to find so much value. Primo on the lurk as well. It's all down to just adversary here. I'm sorry, to Seraphine here, but she gets shut down by Shimo, who on that lurk is able to find two. And Ohana Excelsior, they're looking still like they're the same team that was on Icebox, doing a great job. So the thing is that if you look at over the course of this tournament, I think Excelsior, they're like the one team that hasn't really had a chance to face off against No Sense until, let's say, if I'm wrong, they went to the lower bracket after being beaten by ChickenKebab, against whom they did find their revenge. So this is the first time in this tournament that these two teams are really facing off. So a lot of new things available. Despite getting, getting the plant, they are going to be fully upgrading. As for the side of NGS, so they're not going to have much of a buy. Just I think a shorty that I saw and some utility that they have. That's going to be all that they really have to work with. You do see that the A push is going to be where the action is coming in. That Pain Shell's not going to be able to find much, doing a little bit of chick damage to adversary, but that's going to be it. And A seems like where the execute is going to be coming eventually. They do break that door to make for a little bit more easy access, and well, despite that headshot coming in for its lead, unfortunately that classic is not going to be able to find it. Final. It is going to leave the side of No Game Sense with not just a weapon disadvantage, but also like a player disadvantage there.
You can see Seraphine really looking out for the lurk this time around. She's scared of Shimo coming in from the back, but Adversary is the one who picks up that first kill. Numbers advantage heavily in the favor of Ohana Excelsior, and Nora seems to want to go aggressive for more. Picks up one and cleans up the round flawlessly for her team there. And that's the best situation that Ohana Excelsior, they can get themselves in, right? Because coming into this bonus round, because they bought up these factors in the previous round, they won't really have to reinvest, and they could try to go in for a more unconventional play to try and get this bonus round off of the hands of the side of No Game Sense.
I mean, the shorty is an incredibly powerful weapon, but unfortunately for, I believe it was Periwinkle, not from that range. This time though, it is going to be the full buy kicking in for the side of No Game, since they are going to have those rifles to work with, some additional firepower in their pocket, and it might be the round that they can finally possibly convert. You do see mid control being contested right off the bat by the side of Ohana Excelsior. The run and gun too powerful for Seraphine to deal with, and first blood, it's going to be yet again heading in the direction of these players from Ohana Excelsior. That turret will be broken off the back of that as well, and Tall is not afraid to get aggressive. Doesn't check inside the smoke, does hear the sound though. Will she be able to get away with her life? Manages to get the kill as well with the help of Nora, but yet again gets a little bit too aggressive off the back of that paranoia. Things back down to a 3v3, and the spike is going down. However, the weapons advantage is still in the hands of NG as they find that pick onto Shimo. Two players left for Ohana Excelsior right now. Nora playing a dangerous game in this close angle. Only 42 HP to work with, so difficult right now for these two. Periwinkle finds yet another. It's all down to just Shiloh, who is going to be shut down. And off the back of that No Game, since they find their first round, sure, they lose two players in the process, but a win is a win. And I think they'll be happy with themselves considering how it played out at the end.
Yeah, great recovery coming in from No Game Sense right there. Even though they did lose the first member towards mid, they were able to kind of play this retake really well, and they didn't really give time for Ohana Excelsior to make themselves comfortable on the side, get themselves into these post-plant positions especially. And I do think that was what gave them the advantage in that situation. And this time around though, full buy coming in for the side of Ohana Excelsior, but Tao seems to want to go aggressive for these Blade Storms. Already picking up the ultimate orb. The 0 point gonna be able to spot out a couple players towards A. No Game Sense, they're aware of this. Zenny seems to be aware. Oh, Tao from above, able to pick up the kill onto Atsui. That kind of opens up the A side, but it seems like they don't want to go in right now. Let's go in for this rotate instead towards mid. Periwinkle to hold down this cat position.
Ooh, the backup is there with the Pain Shell, so perhaps that will help Periwinkle but I think that being mid is eventually coming to the alarm bot is going to give away the game. Going to be Killjoy really available to try and hold off this push here. K-Poppy with that turret holding an off angle. They're going to be walking into the crosshairs of her though, and adversary yet again straight. I lose it straight, and with the Blade Storm top finding so much value here, it's going to be just a sheriff that she has to work with. That might be all she needs if she continues hitting the shots like she has been over the course of this game. It's all down to Seraphine in this 1v4, and they're not going to be letting her do anything. Getting 2 headshots though, and now suddenly things look very doable. Turret giving away her position. The 0 point going to be connecting as well. So much utility being dumped in the direction of Seraphine right now, but the clutch potential is still going to be there in this 1v2 situation. If Nora did not get that headshot, but yeah, third round for Ohana, Excelsior, and a beautiful coordinated push. They get that first pick, they create pandemonium towards that A short area, pulling in a little bit of a rotation, and off the back of that, they were able to do so much. Sure, Seraphine did well. She managed to get these 2 picks. It's very close to her Hunter's Fury, if I'm not wrong, just 1 away. But still, the round is the round, and off the back of that, well, it's going to be NGS who are in a little bit of a low buy position.
I don't think NGS, they had to switch something up on their defense, especially K-Poppy, who's been playing towards the CT position. Might want to try to play towards the site instead, which she seems to be doing this time around, but she's already going to be revealed by the recon that Shorty know as well, and she's spotted out by Tao, who's pushing the issue here, trying to get some chip damage, but she's going to eventually fall to Tao, and the spike plant going to go down once again, really safely. Seraphine. First point of contact gonna be made onto adversary possibly. Swings out and finds that pickup onto Seraphine. With the rotations coming in, Zenny. I think she might be able to catch a timing here, just a little bit too late, but this off angle position, Zenny still able to land that shot on the Shibo as well as the adversary. 2 quick kills to try and even out the numbers, but Tao from a position up above, the showstopper to be utilized as well, but does not connect. There was a little bit of an awkward altercation with both of them running out bullets, but as time ticks down, it's Tao who cleans up the round for a team once again. But I don't think overall pretty good round coming in from No Game Sense. Even though the showstopper may be a little bit of a waste, but these 2 shots though, absolutely amazing.
I feel so bad about the showstopper. I think there was 4 HP left on Shilu, barely getting away with her life. I think she jumped over it a little bit if I'm not wrong, but yeah, the showstopper not really finding much, though Zenny is still able to like really hop off there, for lack of a better word. The fullback kicking in right now for the side of No Game Sense, and they have to try and win this round to prevent like a possible snowball coming in. It is going to be the lockdown invested. The immediate Hunter's Fury comes in, and oh no, they don't check this corner, so it is going to be a huge kill coming in. K-Poppy manages to clean things up, but Nora is there for the eventual trade. The lockdown will be destroyed at the very least, so K-Poppy will be able to continue playing on the side. Corner spots out the head of one, drops Nora, but the question is she going to be aware of the push coming in from the opposite side? Even if she isn't, it is going to be the judge finding a lot of value. Shiloh able to find 2, but that's going to be it because Atsui and Seraphine, they're finally going to push back, and off the back of that No Game Sense, they get their first round, their second round on board, the first in a while, and it is going to make the scoreline look a little bit more manageable. They also have 3 ults available, both the lockdown ready for that retake as well as that null command good to go. I think that they have a lot to work with. Adversary does have that Hunter's Fury as well, so I think that it could genuinely either way heading into this round. Otherwise, at least
this time around though, Ohana Excelsior, they seem to want to go exploring down mid. We see the pings coming through towards Cat, but with noise being made towards A, seems like it's gonna be an A split coming through, and first line of defense is gonna be Perry Winkle, who isn't aware of the 2 players right outside her door. Now she is, and she lands the first shot, second as well, 32 HP to her name, but it doesn't matter because she has single-handedly shut down the push from coming in from the side, and Azui off the back of the paranoia, able to pick up to it. Adversary try to salvage this round, but with no bullets, she has to go for this reload, and it's gonna get spotted out by Seraphine. The shots do not connect, and Seraphine takes that kill. 3 points on the board for No Game Sense here.
Now I see what adversary was playing the Vandal on. Because she likes to go in for these crisp taps, and well, the Phantom, it makes things a little bit awkward. But this position from Atsui, it was crucial for the side of NGS to really be able to win that round, just creating like such crucial crossfires that the team really needed. And it is going to immediately switch things around. This time it's going to be Ohana Excelsior who are on that eco. Yet again, Total is only one away from that Blade Storm, so that might be what they need to try and convert this thrifty round, possibly heading into it. Neither team with an operator online, and well, she's on that. We are starting off on this attack. Here, but apart from that, it is going to give away information that there are multiple players towards this main. So getting aggressive here, misses the shots though. Nora is able to clean it up. The damage with the Blade Storm has been done, but there's going to be no more blades to really work with. And Seraphine in the smoke is able to take down her Sova counterpart. They're back down to a 4v4, and now Ohana Excelsior, they have to decide where they want to go.
Zenny picks up another on the Nora as well, so Nova's advantage right now in the favor of No Game Sense. She's gonna get spotted out by this turret. Gun able to be retrieved by Shimo, who's in a really dangerous position right now. Not gonna get spotted out by the recon mode, but Zenny picks up another Seraphine. Gets caught off guard, but she's still able to clean up the round for her team, evening out the scoreline 4-4. And off the back of that, No Game Sense, they seem to have found their momentum.
They definitely have. They might figure out with these pushes from the side of Ohana Excelsior, and once they manage to really like be able to trade their players out or make plays like Seraphine just at solo and pop off, they've managed to recover quite quickly. Things back up to a 4v4 from a 4-1 score. I'm sorry, a 4-4 from a 4-1 score, and that's going to trigger a timeout coming in, I believe, from Ohana Excelsior, who needs to figure out like how are they losing these rounds. They managed to get the plant. Why aren't they able to like really finish up?
I do think it's because the No Game Sense, they don't give a chance for Ohana Excelsior to try and like get themselves into a good position to play for the post planet. That's why kind of when the spike goes down, No Game Sense, they just make their way onto site, they force their way onto the site, and Ohana Excelsior most of the time they're caught off guard by this aggression that's coming in from this retake. So they have to figure out how to deal with this kind of aggression, it seems. In this timeout, to try and cool members of No Game Sense down, maybe try and take their momentum away a little bit. This buy round coming into this is gonna be really important for both these teams, especially for Ohana Excelsior, since they don't really, if they do lose this round, they won't really have the economy to work with coming into the next round.
Yeah, the economy is definitely going to be a crucial question here because the tables have turned right now. Ohana Excelsior, they were on the front foot, but now suddenly they are looking down the barrel of a gun, literally and figuratively, because like you mentioned, the economy is one thing to watch out for, but more than that, No Game Sense is a team which has shown that they are able to consistently find, if they find the momentum, they are able to run away with it and close out games like in like a dominating fashion, for lack of a better word. Tall is going to be the first player detected. It gets tagged up a very, very little bit by that turret, and will give away some information, but it might just be a bait play here because the spike is positioned towards A main, and in the meantime, mid control is yet again being contested and taken by the side of Ohana Excelsior, who aren't afraid to really go for it. They do have that Cosmic Divide available as well to really get that plant down, so I think towards B is going to be where three players are. Tall being spotted out by that recon will be falling back off the back of it because the rest of the team is headed towards A instead, and first blood is going to be coming into the hands of adversary. Finds a headshot onto Periwinkle. Off the back of that, they take the site, and Tall is able to find the second as well. A 3v5 retake, looking at it from the side of No Game Sense.
They do have a couple of key ultimates to work with to come in for this retake, the lockdown as well as the null command, but Ohana Excelsior, I do think that they're aware of this. You see a couple of the players playing off-site, and 0 Point is gonna spot out the Astra. The pressure coming at them from all sides, and now command gonna be popped. They have to make a move right here, right now, but the flash drive, the timing of the Nebula smoke just fades at the wrong moment, and Atsui is caught off guard. Zenny is there for the trade. But with Tao coming in from the flank, what more can you do? All the players on the side of No Game Sense fall. Once again, Ohana Excelsior are gonna be taking the lead back.
Finally, that's the round that they desperately needed. Off the back of both Adversary and Taw, able to find those first picks there. They're really able to capitalize on it. The economy is still in a good place for the side of NGS, so they will be able to buy in. Also, they have that lockdown still ready to go, and Zenny is only one away from that showstopper yet again. For the side of Ohana Excelsior, though, they are also one away from that lockdown, so they might be looking to go towards that B hit. Nora does have that null command as well, possibly popping it to deny that KO Molly from coming in and breaking down that lockdown. They're going to be running it down towards mid instead, though. Tar going forward, but Seraphine with that off angle, finding the pick, does get traded out. So off the back of that mid control, it's been taken. They know that that's where the push is coming in. That Paranoia is going to give away the Omen's position as well. However, there are two players towards this B side. Both Carry Poppy and Zenny are going to be here. They have to try and hold on to this. Able to find one with Nora, able to yet again find the trade. It's all down to just Zenny here. His position has been spotted, but it seems like Nora's unaware of it as they go down. Things back, all in the hands of just Adversary here. If they manage to find this pick onto Zenny, they might be able to get the KO back up, but no, Zenny is going to deny any kind of that comeback coming through, and No Game Sense, they bring it back 5-5.
But you can see how Ohana Excelsior, they're trying to adapt to how No Game Sense have been playing, right? They're aware that Seraphine has been playing in that market angle, that pizza corner for a while now, and immediately they ping her, they try to flush her out. She's able to get one before she falls, so it's very well done, but eventually the trade does come through. And No Game Sense, they somehow managed to recover from that initial pick. And coming into this next round, Ohana Excelsior once again on the back foot in terms of economy. The Owl Drone is going to come through. It seems like they want to go in for a fast execute, but they're going to be spotted out by this recon dart coming from Seraphine here. Tao clearing out this pizza position. Seraphine seems to be aware there might be a little bit of a fight here, but Tao picks up the kill onto Zenny instead. Still better stay alive a little bit, but not before falling to Seraphine though. Lockdown gonna come through for the side of Ohana Excelsior, but Seraphine picks up one onto Adversary. Tags up Shimo as well. The lockdown gets destroyed. It's all up to Shimo to try to find what she can, but Periwinkle is the one who closes things out. And once again, No Game Sense. 6 points on the board. They find themselves in the lead. You know, it's Ohana Excelsior to try and bring things back in this half.
They do have the economy. I think Nora is going to be forced to play with just a Bulldog, but everybody else seems to be doing just fine. And honestly, Tall will have that Blaze Storm ready to go yet again. I like how Seraphine not only managed to break the lockdown with that Hunter's Fury, but also managed to find a kill and tag 2 other players as well. That was a massive ult coming in, doing so much damage to the side of Ohana Excelsior over the course of the last round. And it seems like this time it's going to be a little bit of a slow approach from Ohana Excelsior. They are focusing on the A side. You can already see Ta just waltzing up mid, not afraid of anything that could possibly be thrown in her way here, methodically clearing out the corners and up towards this angle. There's nobody really aggressively peeking here to find some information. Periwinkle is going to be the first point of contact, and if Ta doesn't clear this, it's going to be so dangerous. They do, however, and that's going to be the first pick coming in the favor of Ohana Excelsior here. That raise out is also going to be used, but not finding much. Zenny with a rifle though is able to do so much, already finding 2 here. Things back down to a 3v3, but as I say, that Taw was already super low. Is going to go down. Zenny on the 3rd of the round. It's all down to just Shiloh. 20 HP left to her name. Even a little bit of splash damage from those paint shells will take her out. So much work to do, so little time. Does get one, but the boom bot! She has enough bullets left to break it, and a 4K for Zen. He is going to give No Game Sense the lead in this first half here. And I think that's the most unfortunate that we've seen today.
This is the second time that I witnessed Zenny get a kill with a boombot. The first was yesterday on Fracture, and once again, the utility usage coming through. This just goes to show how potent a race can be, because with the showstopper, with your boombot, and basically all your utility can be used as like chip damage. So if your opponent is so low, you can just take them out with a boombot like that. And Shiloh was kind of not expecting that boombot to be chasing her down like that, and that's gonna give No Game Sense the lead, as you mentioned, Zach. So coming into this half, Ohana Excelsior. This pistol round is going to be really important for them to try and bring things back, to try and tie things up once again.
Ooh, that is some quick expectation that Sova Recon to give away any kind of information. Zenny is going to be able to find that first blood. They still have to clear out the backup side. There's not going to be anybody there. Periwinkle gets a little bit too over-eager though and is punished by Taw with that frenzy, finding a lot of value. Back down to a 44. The spike will go down, but the players from Ohana Excelsior, they are ready for this retake. Arguably, Zenny is going to be that first point of contact, desperately trying to find these shots here. Does a lot of damage to Nora, but not able to quite finish that kill. That fragment coming through, being able to find that posthumous kill. It's going to be Carry Poppy. The 1v2 finds one. Can she find the second? Is going to be the question. Who is going to be the better killjoy in this half? And I don't know if she's aware that Shiloh might have crossed over. Is going to be getting the information from that alarm bot, though. Ooh, the positioning from Shiloh was almost perfect, but the clock is ticking and the flick is there. Carry Poppy is going to be able to close out that 1v2, proving her name right that she is indeed the carry as she finds that first pistol for No Game Sense, bringing them to a dominating lead.
That came down to the absolute wire. This fragment. Nora just trading herself after she died. Actually, yeah, but this flick from Carry Poppy though is absolutely insane. So that's gonna bring them a win off the back of that. They did get the spike plant down as well, so extra money for them. So all the players of No Game Sense, they're gonna be able to buy up these full shields as well as the Spectre. And interestingly enough, how Ohana Excelsior, their Killjoy, is Shiloh is playing. They're actually going in from this for this A setup, which I don't think is something you see very often. More often than not, you see the Killjoy playing on B, so No Game Sense, they might not be expecting this Killjoy play, but it seems like they're going to be avoiding this Nano Swarm that's in his corner. Sure, there's some chip damage on a couple of the players here, but that's about it. Tao though, trying to do some damage, able to pick up one onto Zenny already, but gets traded out by Seraphine, who picks up two more in a favor, and Carry Poppy for the follow-up as well. It's all up to Nora, but unfortunately the gun disadvantage the gun advantage is not in her favor at all, and she's gonna fall. 9 points on the board for No Game Sense as they widen their lead here.
I think that's going to be the second timeout being called by Ohana Excelsior over the course of this game. The first one, they managed to win one round after it before No Game Sense. They really pulled it back. The second time around, they're in a little bit of a desperate situation. It's their full buy round. They have to convert it to be able to really deny No Game Sense from getting to that score, from getting to that double-digit score. That it's really hard to come back from that, especially when you're a little bit behind. So they're figuring out what exactly they can do with this full buy and how they can continue to win these rounds. But I think that you need to remember that this is a map pick coming in from Ohana Excelsior. After this, they're going to be heading over to Fracture, which is unfamiliar territory for them relatively. I don't think that Ohana Excelsior have really played Fracture over the course of this tournament. They played Icebox, they played Ascent, but I don't think they've played Fracture. On the other hand, though, No Game Sense, they have managed to put up a dominating performance on Fracture, 13-3 in the upper brackets. So, not really a team that you want to be, not really a map that you want to be heading into against No Game Sense, being like one map down right off the bat. So I think they want to prevent that kind of situation from happening, which is why that timeout has been called. Tao doesn't really have the economy to buy a rifle since she did force in for that Sheriff the last time around, but everybody else is going to be having that superior firepower to really work with, and that's going to be what they need to close this round out. You can see them getting a little bit aggressive towards a main, but that boombot is immediately going to possibly push them off the angle. Shimo this time around managing to break it and staying alive off the back of it, not taking any damage either. And I think off the back of that, it's going to at least stall the push coming in from the side of these players from No Game Sense.
Yeah, we can see the KO, how far she pushed up towards this B-main position. So, information gained on the side of Ohana Excelsior. They are aware that there's not much action going on towards this B site, and they have quite a bit of map control right now. Rotation seems to be coming through for the side of No Game Sense, though, towards this B site.
So silence. The Killjoy utility is all on the B side, and there's also the KO playing on site as well. So a lot of utility that they'll have to deal with if they decide to go for a pure B push instead. I like how they're not going in for any mid control, knowing that they have the weapon disadvantage. They don't want to fight that battle really. Two players are still towards A though, so they're gonna have to rotate over. 30 seconds left on the
30
clock. They have to
seconds
make a choice.
Oh, Zenny gonna get spotted out early. That she's at a sliver of health. She's gonna get taken. Just a stray bullet, just a gust of wind can take it down. But it seems like they actually coming through towards this B side. Nora not willing to give up her position, and right now she's just trying to stall the time as much as possible. Picks up 3 in the midst of it. Harry Poppy finds 1 with the nano swarm somehow, but the time is just not in their favor, and adversary is going to pick up that last kill onto Zenny. So Ohana Excelsior, overall good round coming in from them off the back of that timeout.
Yeah, and this spray from Nora was insane. She gets 1, she gets the other, and manages to get the 3rd as well, ready for it. Sure, you do see 1 coming in with the nano swarm, but they only lost 1 player, and more than that, they're still gonna have a really healthy economy to buy in for this particular round if they need to, because they hold on to 3 guns, so things are looking quite good for them. They also have that null command off the back of that 3k from Nora, but this is a round which no game sense. They are at a little bit of an advantage. They have that lockdown ready to go. I think you saw them picking up that ult orb the last time around, and it is going to be B where the push does seem like it's coming in. A little bit of an awkward interaction there from poor Shilu, trying to get down that nano swarm, accidentally setting it off, and well, off the back of that, it is going to be her taking a lot of damage to the spray. Nora yet again playing on side. Her position is known though right now, and that's going to be the lockdown. Finally invested off the back of everything else. That null command though is going to shut down all the utility coming in. That's going to be no satchels available, and Nora just spraying through the smoke, able to find Zenny before the lockdown kicks in, and able to rotate out as well. The backstab though, it's going to be traded out immediately. Atsui going huge, fighting 2. It's all down to just Shimo here in this 1v3 situation. Her teammate is down. There's no real way that she can realistically get the KO back up, so she has to deal with this 1v3 all by herself to deny no game sense from getting to double digits here. Doesn't have the position really of any of these players. Knows that Atsui is on site, but she has to methodically clear out so many of these angles just by herself. Pulls out her knife, just gets spotted by the respawn on top of everything else, and Carry Poppy's just gonna be able to spray her down. No game sense. They convert their full buy off the back of that lockdown and keep 3 players heading into the next round.
Double digits coming in from no game sense here. Off the back of it, they do have the Hunter's Fury to play with, and Atsui is just 1 away from her own null command. Shilu though could have the lockdown available if she's able to pick up that orb, but I don't think she'll be contesting for it this time around. But Ohana Excelsior on the back foot this time around. In terms of economy, seems like it's gonna be a fast A execute coming in for no game sense, but they're gonna get spotted out early. 3 players already spotted out. Flash strike to come through to try and deny this space from coming in for no game sense. And already 3 players stacked up towards this garden position with Nora holding this close angle. Gonna get spotted out by Zenny though.
All the utility being dumped, and finally null command is going to be popped by Nora. The paranoia going to be stopping, not from Nora, sorry. It's going to be popped by the KO from the side of Ohana, from the side of no game sense. The spray finding the first split for them as well. Everything that could go in their favor, going in their favor. Zeddy doing so much damage onto Shilu with that spray. 4 players left for them right now. They have to try and make this retake work with this broken buy here. Oh my god, Zenny is able to connect so many bullets, almost getting the pick. Tall does manage to find a shot onto Carry Poppy at the very least. Can she get more? Is gonna be the question. Shiloh finds the headshot onto Zenny. 5 HP in a dream. It's all down to just Atsui here in this 1v2. Both players are so low though. It's gonna be just 1 bullet, but Tall will not be denied. And that's gonna be the thrifty for Ohana Excelsior off the back of that beautiful retake with just Spectres and 2 Sheriffs to their name.
How did they manage to pull it off? Everything was against them not in their favor at all, and Shiloh even gets tagged down to 5 health. But Tao and Adversary, they managed to pull it back some way, somehow. And I do think No Game Sense, the players of No Game Sense, they got a little bit too overeager. You see them spraying through the health position, and they weren't really prepared for the retake for Ohana Excelsior. I don't think they were really expecting Ohana Excelsior to try and go aggressive in that situation, but they made it work in their favor. And this time around, though,
Drop the spike.
Spectre is in the hands of No Game Sense.
Yeah, a little bit of a half by the economy. After that loss is looking less than ideal, for lack of a better word. And I think that Shiloh did get that kill, so she will have that lockdown heading into this if they want to play for the retake on top of everything else. They're just waiting outside A side to decide if they still want to push this, because again, they've given away the information that there are players towards there. You do see the smokes coming in as well to deny a proper entry, and off the back of that, they're going in for a full rotate. But I don't know if they're aware that it's not just Killjoy, but also Nora, the KO, ready to deny the push coming in. They're regrouping towards mid instead, and Tall is going to be the first obstacle that they really have to face off against if they decide to white peek into this. That recon spotting out Zenny as well, so they're going to know exactly where the raise is, and I think now they're going to be aware that it's going to be a B push coming in, because you see Adverso rotating over, but the first blood going in for Tall, the second as well. Can she get more is going to be the question. Is she going to be spraying down and get Seraphine on top of everything else? Two players left to find. Tall is hungry. Tall wants these kills, and will Tall get them is going to be the question. No, because it's going to be Nora finding both instead of flawless for Ohana Excelsior to bring them to 8-10.
Equal round for the side of No Game Sense, even though not much value gained. I think this round was kind of for them to kind of feel out what Ohana Excelsior have been doing and try to figure out a way to adapt to their playstyle. And it seems like they might want to go in for this fast execute, especially since they do have the showstopper in hand. Was the B side, but mid, they want to go and make some contact with mid as well. So first obstacle gonna be Adversary here, who gets pushed off with the paint shells right into the waiting arms of Atsui with that Vandal. Harry probably gonna get spotted out, but a showstopper to come through for the side of No Game Sense. She's trying to go aggressive towards CT, but spots out no one at all. Flying towards Boathouse. Nora picks up two, but Zenny and Perry will try to bring things back in their favor. Once again, numbers even 2 versus 2 situation, as the players of Ohana Excelsior, they have to go in for this retake.
Shimo is on the flank, however. They might not be aware of this possible position here, and Zenny is going to be towards the CT. The timing has to be perfect from Zenny to be able to find these picks. The smoke fades away as well, so I think she might be aware that both the players might already be on site. She has to peek for this information, does hear the shots on top of everything else, and well, Carrie Poppy manages to flick yet again, finding the shot, gets traded out. It's going to be a 1v1 right now. Shimo versus Zenny. Shimo does so much damage, but it's going to be Zenny who closes it out. 22 HP to her name, but still gets the round for No Game Sense, who find 11 off the back of that. And I thought that, I generally thought Zenny might be a little bit too late, but this flick from Carrie Poppy is insane. This is the second time that she's managing to hit a flick like that for sure.
Oh, I see. Tao with an operator. This might
Finally.
be... this might be hard for No Game Sense to deal with, especially if they're not expecting it at all. They do have the flash drive and a couple of smokes to work with in the form of the Omen smokes. Nora is the one who makes first contact, and instantly the rotation is coming through for the side of Ohana Excelsior, as two players of No Game Sense, they get spotted out outside with the 0 point on the B side. Seems like though all the ultimates online for Ohana Excelsior, they want to go in for this retake instead.
I mean, it's not a bad call. I think they still do have that lockdown from Shiloh available. Ooh, Periwinkle finding that first pick though is huge. That's going to deny the Cosmic Divide's availability for the side of Ohana Excelsior. So that's going to be a major ult down Tall though. But the operator can still find so much value if they don't smoke off this angle or they don't flash it at the very least. That recon bolt going to give away information that there are 4 players here as they make their way forward. This edge is going to be what Tall is desperately trying to watch and might be able to find some value as well as ChickenKebab shows just a hint of her shoulder there. The wall bag attempt does come through from Seraphine, but Andrew is able to find the pick as well on top of everything else. Shiloh though is there for the trade, and it's gonna be just these remaining two players from No Game Sense who have to try and make sure that things work out for them. The spike is already on site as well, coming close. It's going to be going down for the blind, but look at the position right now from adversary towards main, denying the plan coming through. It's all down to just Atsui with 10 seconds left on the clock. How much more can she find? Gets a wallbang headshot, but that's going to be it before adversary shuts it down. 11-9, and this game, if it keeps going this way, it might genuinely head into overtime.
Yeah, but No Game Sense, once again, on the back foot in terms of economy. This operator Taos, it could be really hard to deal with in this situation, and they still have all their ultimates available coming to this next round, so it could be a very difficult situation for No Game Sense here. I'm not too sure if they want to invest too much into this, but I do think they might want to go and switch up the pace on the offense here.
It's going so quietly right now. No noise, no cues really being given from either side. And this round might be where Ohana Excelsior are able to find themselves double digit as well, because like you mentioned, the economy not looking too for No Game Sense. They don't have much in the way of ultimates to really work with either. And Taw still has that operator ready to go. Nora already being able to find that first pick is huge right now, as it's going to give away information that there are players towards his B site. But more than that, that's going to be the Ray Satchels and Firepower offline. Atsui on the lurk with the Sheriff. Might be pushing right into the waiting arms of Shima, who turns away at the worst time. Still able to find the pick though. And off the back of that No Game Sense, they have just two players left, both towards me. They make that one. It's all down to Carry Poppy. Just a classic to her name, does have that lockdown ready to go. But I think that she's probably going to be just saving it for next round, because she's going to be surrounded on all sides. That knife is perfect. Going to deny that Nano Swarm from popping, and Nora with the 3k on the round is going to be able to find a flawless for No Game Sense, for the side of Ohana Excelsior, who are on track for an equalizer.
That's going to trigger the timeout coming in for the side of No Game Sense. First time this game. So they really have to try and find a way to counter this this default play coming in from Ohana Excelsior. Because what they're doing is that they're not really giving they're not giving No Game Sense anything to work with here in terms of aggression on a defense. And in that sense, No Game Sense, they've been playing the slow waiting game for a couple of rounds now, and it hasn't really been working out in their favor. So this might be a really good opportunity for them to try and quicken the tempo here a bit, especially with the null command and lockdown online here. But on the side of Ohana Excelsior, though, they do have a couple of key ultimates to try and counter that kind of aggression themselves.
That is true. And I think that one of the things that has managed to work out a lot for the side of these players from No Game Sense is if they can find the first pick and just WK off the back of that, those rounds usually go in their favor, because Ohana Excelsior, they haven't been finding much success in these retake situations. If they get that first blood, if they're able to like completely put a stop to the momentum of No Game Sense as they try to go in for the execute, that's where they really thrive. But this time around, they have to contend with, like you mentioned, two major ults, and also the post plants that Seraphine might be using with that Hunter's Fury. So I think B is going to be where the hit is coming in. However, Ohana Excelsior, they do have ults of their own for retake. I think that Nora also has a null command available. So does the Killjoy. Shiloh does have that lockdown as well. So two crucial ults available from both of these players, both of these teams. It is going to be the Hunter's Fury invested from both sides here. That lockdown immediately being shut down. Adversary managing to dodge it as well. So you see the mirror ults being invested on both of these sides. Immediately it is going to deny that recon bolts coming into the Sova. They go to close up the door though, and adversary strikes, able to find to the cosmic divide as well being used here. It's all down to just one player. Atsui getting the spike down. Can she find more? It's gonna be the question, but the answer is no. And Nora finding the second of the round. The defuse comes through, and suddenly No Game Sense, they're not only looking at an equalized scoreline, but also an economic deficit.
Flawless.
There was so much invested for the side of No Game Sense. 3 ultimates, and a flawless round from Ohana Excelsior at that. So no game sense off the back of that. They're gonna have like as you mentioned the economic deficit. It seems like they want to go in for this force buy though. So try and catch the players of Ohana Excelsior off guard here. But if they lose any weapons this round, coming to the next round is gonna be a very tough situation for them, especially since after Ohana Excelsior, their bank has been built up from the last what 4 or 5 rounds, and Tao, she's not afraid to go aggressive with her Blade Storms already. The updraft being utilized to try and gather some information. No one spotted outside of A, so they know that players of No Game Sense, they're gonna be playing towards the B side instead.
B is indeed where the hit is coming in, and already the paint shells push Nora off that particular angle. However, Ta is still lying in wait towards mid area. That flashpoint not really hitting, but the shot goes wide, and it is going to be the operator's position completely finally known here. Adversaries there for the backup though, both making her way onto site, sneaking in, and that might in fact cause a complete stall to the push coming in from No Game Sense, who have already invested a decent amount here. The paint shells, the smokes, all of it have been coming in, and the first blood yet again is going to be for adversary. However, they left the A site open. There's nobody on site, there's nobody towards heaven, and if they can just get a smoke down towards short here, that might be them able to get into the site. Shimo though is going to be trying to probably play in the smoke and sneak out, find the timing, is able to get one, but Periwinkle will shut that down right after. It's going to be a 3v4 retake. Advantage is towards Ohana Excelsior. They have that Blade Storm to work with on Tall as well, and the lockdown to boot, so these players, they have to make their way off site here. Blade Storm finding one, K-Poppy able to find another before anything, and before Atsui can even try to go for that 1v3 clutch, Shilu immediately shuts her down. And off the back of that, it's going to be Ohana Excelsior finding themselves at match point on their map pick, making that comeback from, I believe it was 9-4 or something, 9-5. Yeah, they really managed to make that comeback, and I think at this point it is going to be No Game Sense staring down the barrel of the gun, because they scraped together every single thing they can for the last buy that they had, and they don't really have much to work with. You see 3 Spectres, a Bulldog, Periwinkle, the only one with a rifle, and no ultimates either to work with, so they're in a dire spot here, Grebby.
Dire spot indeed, with, as you mentioned, no ultimates to work with. It's such a difficult situation. Like, Periwinkle doesn't even have that paranoia to work with, and that piece of utility itself, it has been used so well from her, so for her to not have it this time around is kind of a really difficult situation for them. But the 0 point gonna be spotting out position of Shimo though. This fast B execute coming through off the back of this flash drive. Nora peeks into a couple of the players on the side of No Game Sense. They pick up that first kill off the back of that Periwinkle. But adversary, as well as Shiloh, still holding down this side here to the cross. But Periwinkle is the one who picks up the kill on the adversary instead. Seraphine waiting for this lurk coming in from Shimo. It was all up to Shiloh to try and hold down the side spots. On the first aim to get that kill. Spike falls down as well, but Carry Poppy is there for the trade. Numbers advantage right now in the favor of No Game Sense.
Spike planted.
1v3 for Tall to deny overtime, does pick up the rifle and gives away the information as to her position. Seraphine's going to be the first player that she has to deal with, and at that obstacle is where she will fall. 12-12, and we're heading into overtime for the first map of this grand finals. Neither team wants to let it go too easily, and I think finally Periwinkle being able to push up aggressively, get those trades, get that first pick, that is what really cemented the round for the side of No Game Sense here. And of course, Seraphine's lurk was just precise. A little bit of ogre eagerness coming in from Ohana Excelsior, but extremely well played by No Game Sense. And now in this overtime, it is going to be side swapped around yet again. Ohana Excelsior, they didn't find as much success on the attack as they would like. Neither team, in fact, really having a very dominant attacking side. I think it's going to come down to whoever wins the first attacking round here, Grimmy.
Once again, I mean, both these teams right now, they're on equal footing coming into this round, and like you mentioned, Zach, I do agree, it really comes down to which team wins their attacking round first. You know, Ohana Excelsior is the first to try the hand at that, but already they're gonna get smoked out from the A side. I will try to try and gather some information here onto this A side. Not gonna spot out anyone, but sees the shoulder of Asui, but Tao is the one who falls first. Answer is there for the trade, but Zenny backing up her teammate right there, able to once again turn the tides in favor of No Game Sense. They have the numbers advantage, and they have the read as well. We see the Killjoy rotating back towards the B side, and that's exactly where Ohana Excelsior is going to be walking right into.
All the utility is going to be active and ready to go, and you see that mid has a rotation as well. There is going to be Periwinkle there for the backup. These Astra smokes being given away are going to be giving away some where exactly these players are coming. However, there's no smoke available from the Astra for the CT angle, so they're not going to be able to block off this crossfire from the Killjoy. Smoke does come down towards main. Carry Puppy already finding the first headshot. Can they get more is the question, as this crossfire is finding its way. Seraphine finding one. It's all down to just Shiloh tries to go to the side to possibly get a plant. The Periwinkle is going to deny that, and off the back of that No Game Sense, they win their defense round. If they can win their attacking, it's going to be what they need to carry them into map number 2, having stolen away Ohana Excelsior's map. But this is where they've been struggling the entire game, being able to really deal with Ohana Excelsior's defense. However, this time around, Saw doesn't have that operator, so they might be finding a little bit more success.
Yeah, I do think in the one round before they forced overtime, it was the attacking round of No Game Sense, right? And they made it work in their favor by going for this mid execute, but instantly they're gonna get spotted out by the recon dart of adversary. So a little bit of information gained, but Tao seems to want to go aggressive here, gets punished for it by Seraphine, and Zenny is the one who picks up the second kill onto Shimo. Adversary tries to pull things back in their favor, but he gets forced off the angle by the paint shells.
This is falling apart right now for Ohana Excelsior. They've already lost 3 of their players. It's all down to just the Killjoy and the Sova adversary towards mid alone, being surrounded on all sides. Gets one before she falls. Shilu is the last bastion available for the side of Ohana Excelsior to deny this map pick of Ascent being completely stolen away right now. And the timing is going to be there for Tsui, who manages to catch Shilu just as he turns away. And that overtime victory is going to be heading into the pockets of No Game Sense to finally find their footing on the attack.
So map 1, Ascent going the way of No Game Sense. Very well played from both teams. It went so far into overtime, and look at Tao on the top of the scoreboard once again, with Zenny not far behind. All these players played so well, and I'm super excited for the second match. Okay, 9 first bloods on Tao. That's I'm like looking at it now. I'm like, how?
I think Tall has like almost more first bloods than the entire opponent team put together. They have 10 together. Tall has 9 by herself. That's like a testament to how much damage she was able to really do on the defense as well as the attack. And I think that last round, not picking up that operator might have been a little bit of a mistake. You saw her try to get aggressive, but she was like immediately punished for it. Seraphine has been so good at lurking around during the course of the attacking rounds for No Game Sense, finding so much value. And I think that really contributed to these players from No Game Sense being able to pull this off, despite it going into overtime. Them winning that first defense was, the exact confidence boost that they really needed to try and make this map work. So I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Ohana Excelsior, because they're going to be heading into Fracture, which is a map that they haven't played over the course of this tournament. They've seen No Game Sense play it and win 13-3, and I think that they're already 1 map down, so for them to be able to push it to bind, it's going to be incredibly difficult. They're going to have to have such a strong mental and gameplay to really beat the side of No Game Sense on Fracture.
Yeah, definitely agree with you right there. But before we head into map 2 of Fracture itself, we're gonna head for a short break right now, but don't go anywhere and stay tuned for that.
Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank. Got the money in the bank, 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 bank. Got the money in the bank. Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the Hit you with the bank. Hit you with the Hit you with the 808. Hit you with the Hit you with the 808. Bang to the break, bang to the break, bang to the break, bang, 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 bang. I'm a boss and you know that I'm finna shine. Got the
Welcome back, everyone, to the grand finals of this month's APAC Academy. We are gonna be heading into map number 2 very shortly, but for just to catch you guys up, map number 1 was stolen away, for lack of a better word, by Team No Game Sense, who won Ascent in a very heated overtime, 14-12. Yeah, I mean this is NGS's pick, and they have shown in the past that they are able to completely dominate on this particular map. So Ohana, Excelsior, they're gonna be fighting like an uphill battle, for lack of a better word. They have to deal with not only being a map down, but also playing on NGS's home ground, and it's going to be very difficult for them to really make this comeback.
I definitely agree with you right there, especially since Fracture NGS has played this map itself once already, and they had a really dominant performance on it as well, 13-3 scoreline, and coming into this Ohana Excelsior, they're gonna have a really tough game on their hands, especially after losing out on their first map pick. Mental, maybe they have to go in for this mental reset as well. So this is gonna be I do think we're gonna have a very interesting game on our hands. And Fracture itself, what kind of agents do you think we'll see?
I think we'll definitely see a Breach. We'll see a Neon as well, probably. But, we can speculate, but Agent Select is good to go. So let's see if we're going to be seeing Neon, Breach, and Brimstone for these teams. I think we are indeed, at least for the side of Ohana Excelsior. With the exception of the duelist, they have put on the Reina instead. She's feeling fast. She's feeling furious. And, we've only really seen her on the Jet before. So on that Reina, she has been hitting her shots. She has been fragging out in these last couple maps. So perhaps the Reina might be what they need to possibly close Fracture out. They are going in for the Breach and the Brimstone, as well as the KO, which is very interesting because you do see quite a bit of KO on this map, but not in conjunction with the Sage. Nevertheless, though, a really aggressive comp, for lack of a better word, coming in from Ohana Excelsior. As for No Game Sense, it is going to be Zenny on the usual raise, Atsui switching over from the KO to the Breach, and Periwinkle moving all the way from the Omen to a Chamber. Damn.
Select your agent.
Here that they have, and like you mentioned, Zahk, Ohana Excelsior, they do have a pretty aggressive team composition. I'm kind of surprised that they went for the Sage pick instead of a Chamber, though.
Yeah, me too, because right now they don't really have a dedicated Sentinel. Like, I know Sage is a Sentinel, don't get me wrong, but they don't have any information Sentinels. They don't have the Cypher setups like you mentioned. They don't have the Chamber trademark or even a Killjoy turret to work with. So the players from the side of No Game Sense could be anywhere at any time, and they wouldn't know until they take a fight with them. So that's going to make things very rough for them right now. They do have the 0 point from KO, but on a map like Fracture, I don't think that's enough information by itself. But perhaps they do have a game plan coming in. For the side of No Game Sense, though, they have a double controller lineup, so it's going to make their attack very, very nice because they can do a lot of fakes with the Brimstone smokes. They can put down the Viper wall on one side and go in the opposite direction. So this double controller lineup, it's not only, it gives them a lot of potential to do like fakes and stuff, they also do have a lot of utility to work with. They have the Brimstone mollies, they have the Viper snake bites, they have that orbital strike available if they can get it online, and on top of that they have the Chamber on Periwinkle as well. So much to work with for them.
Once again, I think it starts with the pistol round here. Ohana Excelsior, if they manage to pull this off, I do think they have a chance to try and make a comeback. And in terms of agent composition, though, No Game Sense, with the double controller setup, sure, they might be able to pull a couple of fakes here and there, but that also means that their playstyle might be a little bit slower just because of the double controller setup. And right off the bat, though, Zenny wants to prove me wrong, apparently, taking out Nora. The smoke coming through. Adversary holding this close. Eagle by catch timing onto Zenny, able to find her as well. Luma gets destroyed. The trade trying to come through. Both of these players playing in the smoke, but Adversary is the one who wins that duel onto Seraphine.
Ooh. Trades are still there though, but the crossfire between these three players on the defenders is too much for NGS to really break through, and they didn't even get the plant out. It's just going to be the pistol heading into the pockets of no game sense. Adversary in particular going huge there, like managing to find two in that smoke. The most awkward fights ever, sure. And this time around, it's going to be Zenny not finding any value with the boombot. Sure, it goes down, but that's about all it did. It immediately got broken by her teammates, so Adversary is going to be breathing a sigh of relief. She saw how Shilu died the last time around on the set, so really don't want to repeat of that feat. Off the back of that, it is going to be a full eco coming in. 5 classics for NGS to work with, and that's going to be all they have as they try to make this approach towards the B side this time around. You do see the chamber on the lurk, but everybody else is going to be trying to push in, and Adversary is going to be the player who was probably going to be taking first contact, if I'm not wrong, if they continue to go with this plan. They also do have that Sage who is there to wall off Arcade or, really close off any of these crucial angles, so that all of this Viper utility going down is probably going to trigger rotation and get the side of Ohana Excelsior ready to be able to swing off the back of whatever utility does go down.
Rotation back towards the A side. Nora seems to be aware of this though. But is she aware that there's a player right next to her, Zenny, the first contact, but Periwinkle takes her out with that headhunter instead. Spectre retrieved for the players of No Game Sense, as Spike Plan is gonna go down on this A side.
Planted.
It seems like Ohana Excelsior, they're not really giving No Game Sense any room to work with in terms of time that you need to try and go for a reset, get into these post-plant positions. How already find that first, spots out the second as well. The shot does not connect, but the second one does. Carry Poppy falls, and as the barrel up comes through, it's all up the last two players. Last player of No Game Sense to try and make a difference, but unfortunately she's gonna eventually fall as well. And Ohana Excelsior, they pick up the second round. They recover the second round pretty strongly as well.
A little bit unfortunate. I think that if I believe it was Zenny who had that Spectre had been able to do a little bit more damage, it would have been the round that they really needed. But unfortunately, she was only able to get that first pick with the help of Periwinkle. Periwinkle got the first pick with the help of her, and it's going to be 4 Spectres that they still managed to take into this bonus round here. Ohana Excelsior, they have a chance at actually converting this if NGS they mess up big time. With this upgraded buy though, it seems like NGS they are going to be heading in for a quick A push possibly instead. Tall yet again willing to be the tip of the spear of this defense right now. That knife comes in a little bit too late as Nora, she's gonna be hunted down. You see that Zenny is willing to give her a happy chase right now. Periwinkle already finding the first pick on the lurk to make things worse here. Tall was able to trade it out though. That Sui goes down and the backup is there as well. Zenny finding a pick onto Nora. Seraphine will be able to get it, but yet again Tall doing so much to really trade out these fights. Only 6 HP left on her, and Zenny's gonna catch her in the reload. It's all down to just Adversary in this 1v3 situation. The Spike making its way onto the B side though, and it's gonna be Zenny rotating as well through spawns. Adversary, her long walk through this defender side is going to just be for nothing because the Spike is going to be on A instead. She might be able to pick up a rifle, so that is something that goes in her favor, but Zenny is going to be the first point of contact, and the one tap is pristine, and off the back of that, No Game Sense, they get their first round.
This is where the game truly begins, because Ohana Excelsior, they're gonna be able to buy it up fully this time around. With all these Vandals and Tao already, that Empress online. So if she does get herself in a situation where she feels like she has to fight her way out of it, that could really come in handy. And on the side of No Game Sense though, house shields on a couple of players, Seraphine and Atsui. It seems like first contact is gonna be made towards this B main position. Already Atsui gets taken down to half health here. Nora, the 0 point can get destroyed. Spots out Zenny as well. The shot does not connect and she has to fall away off of this angle, off the back of these paint shells.
A lot of damage being done, and in the meantime Periwinkle on the lurk is just going to be able to have a possible walk-in towards this A site. Will be able to clear out the site, but knows that there are still players through the CT, so she might just be happy to wait and watch to see if anyone's going to be swinging over. Does she spot the barrel of the gun? I'm not sure if she did, but Still, Periwinkle not sure where exactly these players are. Adversary as well towards this door might be able to find some value. Zenny though is going to be the one ultimately finding the first blood. She will quickly trades back and drops the spike. It is going to come back down to a 3v3, but Zenny is so low here, so little HP to really work with, and it does seem like she's going to be going in for the drop area instead. Won't be able to pick up that orb either. Adversary though pushing out through the door. The most awkward interaction ever between these players. The showstopper finding one. It's going to come down to back to a 2v2 if I'm not wrong. The paint shows. Going to be pushing Adversary off the angle and Seraphine off the backup that will be able to get the pick. It's down to Shimo. Has more HP than the both of them put together, but still only like 1 or 2 bullets away from their demise. Seraphine doing so much damage for her part. It's going to come down to a 1v1 right now. She made noise, so Shimu knows that it's not going to be the peak coming in. Goes back towards the spike, goes in for a possible tap here, and Zenny peeks, walks right into her crosshair. Shimu with the clutch in that 1v2 will also have the orbital strike ready to go online. Ohana Excelsior 3-1.
Shimo played that absolutely perfectly, able to isolate the first fight, and the fact that she was aware that both these players were at a sliver of health. She wasn't afraid to take that first swing onto the Brimstone, right? Onto
30 seconds left.
yeah, the Brimstone and
Seraphine.
yeah, Seraphine,
Enemy
and
remaining.
even though that like she made Zenny peek into her as well, so very well played coming from Shimo. And as you mentioned, off the back of that, she is gonna have that orbital strike at the ready, and Adversary has the Rolling Thunder to work with as well if they do choose to go in for a retake this time around. But the money situation not looking too good for the side of No Game Sense. Gonna be falling back on a couple of Spectres and Sheriffs. Zenny once again making first contact, spots out Nora, but Periwinkle is the one who wins out the first gunfight onto Tal. That's a Vandal upgrade for her.
Suppose they call it a headhunter for that exact reason there, as it is going to be first blood being found by No Game Sense. Adversary is able to trade it out though. Still, the numbers advantage lies in the hands of these players from No Game Sense who are able to pick up these huge upgrades. Shimu though, they don't check her. She goes uncleared. Does manage to find value. Zenny goes down. It's going to be a 3v2 right now as Ohana Excelsior. They have to make this retake work now. They do, I think, have that Rolling Thunder as well as that Aftershock available. Carry Puppy also has that Viper Spit to use if they want to, but I think they're just going to try to save it for next round, considering that they do have at least the numbers advantage. I don't think the Resurrection is online yet for the Sage. Yeah, Shiloh doesn't have it, so it's going to be a 3v2 for the course of this particular round here, considering that she's not even close to it. And with the smoke, it's going to buy so much time. Periwinkle on this drop angle will be able to watch the cross quite safely and really try to make this work. They're buying so much time with this utility being used here, and it's going to be a push towards main instead. Spots out the head, the defuse starts, but Periwinkle, she still hasn't been cleared, and it is going to be her finding 3 on the round already, a 4th in fact, with that headhunter to make a statement that, look, we might not have the money, but all I really need is my utility. Proving why Chamber is yet again the most picked Sentinel in the history of Valorant.
I mean, and this time around, Ohana Excelsior, they're gonna be facing the same situations No Game Sense did last round, and Periwinkle actually opting for the tour de force this time around as well. It's ready to punish any early aggression that the players of Ohana Excelsior might have, but the 0 point instantly shuts her down. So she's gonna have to wait a little while before she can pull out the gun once again. But on the other side of the map though, a couple of players of Ohana Excelsior going exploring. So they have so much map control right now. They're aware of where these players could be. And that could be either like A main or B main.
Yeah, they really have no information to work with here. It is going to be Zenny fighting that first kill, spots the second as well, and that's going to be triggering the Rolling Thunder's investment for Shiloh being concussed, being chased down by Zenny, who just satchels in her face without fear to be able to get that pick. And Zenny, in fact, is feeling so aggressive that she's going to be going ahead of the boom bot. So many ultimates though being invested by the side of No Game Sense here, the Viper's Pit. It is also going to be the Rolling Thunder, and Zenny finally gets shut down. doing a lot of damage, taking a lot of damage in the process. So the counter Rolling Thunder, it seems ready to go right now. They have invested the orbital strike already, and Shimo manages to find the timing onto poor Seraphine. They're bringing things back down to a 3v3. Shimo making their way through the smoke, though, walking into the embrace of Atsui. That was a dirty shot from Tao. Able to take down that Viper split might be the difference that they really need to make this round work, but the tour de force is too powerful to be shut down. And off the back of that, it is going to be no game sense, equalizing scores 3-3.
Yeah, Rolling Thunder to force the Viper out of that Viper's pit is just the cream on the cake right there. I was like, wow, okay, that's a really interesting play. But once again, Zenny a little bit too over-eager there, trying to go aggressive, gets punished for it, but she does manage to open up the site. So once again, equal scoreline. A couple of the players on the side of Ohana Excelsior, just one off the ultimate resurrection as well as the now command, but on the side of no game sense. They will have the Opal Strike to work with this time around if they do choose to use it for a post plan, or maybe even deny space for the rotations to come in from Ohana Excelsior. But Tao seems to want to go aggressive this time around. He's a couple of players. Zenny's the one who makes first contact though, but Tao responds back in favor, spots out another as well onto Seraphine, and both these players are so low, she managed to find one more, but she's eventually gonna fall to Seraphine. Shimo picks up another kill. So numbers advantage in the favor of Ohana Excelsior. No game sense. Players with no game sense make their way towards the A site. Shimo seems to be aware.
Periwinkle manages to get that trade though, and still looking very healthy right now in this 2v2 situation. Periwinkle is the one who has to do most of the heavy lifting here because of how low Seraphine is. It's going to make things very difficult. Yet again, taking that first fight, being able to win it out is huge here, and that is going to let Seraphine rotate over and play for time, play for that orbital strike, and possibly try to close out the round here. Does go in for the possible tap, spots out the position, knows where these players are, but only has 6 HP left. Has a resurrection though, so that might prove to be useful. In fact, manages to get top of all players up, but that orbital strike is still online, and that is going to be what they are playing for. They pop it. It's going to deny the diffuser. Not only that, it also catches Shiloh, and even though Tao is still alive, it is a 1v1. There is no time. And with that, no game sense, they take the lead. Seraphine being able to close out that 1v2, doing so much damage there. It is going to be a great round. Yet again, no game sense.
One enemy remaining.
Again, great crossfire coming through here. Periwinkle and Seraphine, but it really came down to the wire right there, and that's gonna trigger the timeout coming in for the side of Ohana Excelsior, which I don't think is really interesting because this is gonna be an eco round for them if I'm not mistaken. So I do think they want to try to stop the momentum for the side of no game sense off the back of this timeout.
Maybe that could be the case, but you know, I think at this point, like you mentioned, it's more of a momentum thing than them actually planning out. They're probably planning in for their next full buy as well, of course, but it might also be them just talking about, look, we know that Periwinkle likes to lurk, we know that Zenny likes to go through the doors, try and find some value on Sands. These are the plays that they've been making for the course of the last few rounds, so let's try and figure out how we can stop it. And of course, you know, really manage to trade each other out effectively, because the last round that they lost, right, it was a 2v3. They had the 3 players advantage. They also had that resurrection that they committed so late into the particular round. Shiloh should have just tried to close out the 1v2, 1v1 herself, knowing that the orbital strike was available. But unfortunately, there was a little bit too much time that I believe it was Seraphine who managed to buy it along with Periwinkle. So Zenny is also going to have that showstopper to make things even more inconvenient for the side of Ohana Excelsior, who do have that null command to work with. That's not going to be much. The first pick does go in their favor. The second, as well as Chaw, finally getting aggressive with the help of a teammate, is able to find so much value. However, they're going to be running it down, checking it, and Seraphine on this lurk, hidden in this corner, might be able to do so much here. Adversary with the Sheriff getting 2 as well. Suddenly, this round has turned around on its head here. It's all down to just Seraphine. Spike isn't in her control either, and she has to close out a 1v5 to somehow secure this round and prevent Ohana Excelsior from equalizing scores. But looking at the crossfire, the positions being held by these players from the side of Ohana Excelsior, it's going to be a very difficult task. 3 on the round for Tall and 4 for Ohana Excelsior.
That timeout paid dividends for Ohana Excelsior right there. Off the back of that, they were able to stop the momentum from No Game Sense and Adversary once again.
Enemy
These
remaining.
2 shots with the Sheriff, absolutely insane and critical to try and in securing the round itself, because at a point in time, No Game Sense, they didn't have the manpower to work with anymore, and off the back of that, they equalize the scoreline once again. Still have the Empress as well as the Null command to work with, but Shimo, with an interesting weapon of choice, the Bucky in fact.
Never knock the Bucky. That's the biggest lesson I've learned. It's just something that you don't want to mess with. Especially in these close ranges. If you can connect that instant headshot, great. But otherwise, it's going to make things so difficult right now for the players from No Game Sense, I believe. They do have to make their way in. They are heading for the drop area instead, and Nora is going to be the first point of contact, but Tall has walked her way all the way from that side and is able to yet again find that first pick. That Null command is going to be activated as well, denying utility from these players off No Game Sense, and off the back of that, Tall isn't afraid to get even more aggressive here. However, though, Zenny will deny that, and Nora makes the mistake of pulling out utility in the open. It is going to be the showstopper invested to try and make some more space for these players from No Game Sense, and it does seem like they will at least be able to get the spike down at the very least. Shiva with the Bucky is forced to be, play in this corner and get stuck there, and possibly catch these players funneling out through lane. Adversary with that Rolling Thunder, doing a pressing of Shiva with the Bucky, able to really take down Zenny there. Asui though going so huge. Shiva finding 2, but Periwinkle will deny the 3rd. And off the back of that, No Game Sense, they find the round, but they lost 4 of their players in the process, and 2 of them were to that Bucky, that weapon that we were so dubious about, Grammy.
They walked right into Shimo, right into the waiting house of Shimo's Bucky, into that smoke, and I think for them, Periwinkle was able to close it down, but it came so close. For a second, I was like, okay, is the Bucky gonna win this out? Because most of those players were lined up in the line of fire. I was like, uh-oh, this is dangerous, but No Game Sense, they still managed to close it out. They have the Rolling Thunder off the back of that to work with as well, and Shimo spots out Zenny. It's information gained for the side of Ohana Excelsior.
Playing this round very cautiously. They're aware that there might be more of those annoying little Buckies lurking around the corner, and it seems like they want to possibly rotate over to the B side instead, though it's going to be Tall who yet again finds that first blood onto Periwinkle this time. That's going to be no more chamber trademark to really watch for the flank. Instead, there is a lot of spray coming in, and once they see that Tall is towards that B side, they want nothing to do with it. They're just going to be like, look, we're going to go for the execute. We have the Rolling Thunder, we have all the utility in the world to really like go in, and they make their way into the site. It is going to be the orbital strike invested, but it's only going to be doing a little bit of chip damage at most. Sui finding a kill on top of everything else, and now it falls down to Ohana Excelsior to make this retake work. Tall with the Empress ready to go. We've seen the kind of damage this particular player can have. But is she going to be able to find it this time is the question. She might, but only gets 1. Things back down to a 1v2, and it's all up to just Shilu to deny this round for No Game Sense. Knows the position of 1, but is not going to be able to connect the shot. And off the back of that, No Game Sense, they get to 6.
Again, the Empress almost making things difficult for No Game Sense right there, but they managed to pull it back even after losing Periwinkle right off the back of the round. They managed to win it out as well, and this time around, Periwinkle has the tour de force to work with. She might get shut down by Nora again though if she's not careful. But looks like the Ohana Excelsior,
Let's play.
they're not gonna really have the weaponry to work with this time around. The 0 point instantly gets destroyed by No Game Sense as they make their way slowly but surely towards the B site.
Ooh. this time it's going to be Zenny finding the first split instead. A lot of this time it's been Tall really doing so much damage, and already these two players have managed to lurk their way around, but the Boombot might give away their position. It does indeed manage to do so. It does get broken though before it does too much damage, but Seraphine will be the first point of contact to deny value coming in from the Spectre. Tall goes down, but I don't know if they're aware of the second flank possibly coming in. Seraphine is, and that's going to be a Brim Def coming in right there. Shimo goes down. Yet again, it's going to be an unfavorable situation on the retake for the side of Ohana. Excelsior, Zenny managing to get another, and Seraphine with the third. It's just these two players who managed to do all the damage. I don't think the Jordan Force even got one there. I feel a little bit bad for the Chamber, who, you know, that's an ultimate that takes 8 points these days. So popping in and not finding anything must be a heartbreaker, but nevertheless, no game sense. They're on track for a possible 8-4 half if they can close this out. But either way, they've managed to find a significant lead here, considering that they started off at 1-3. They really managed to work their way back up and steal away the lead from the side of Ohana. Excelsior, who don't have any ult really to work with either. If Shiloh can get a kill, she will have that resurrection available, but apart from that, there's not much in their pockets right now. To contrast that with the side of No Game Sense, who have that orbital strike yet again from Seraphine, who's been so huge over the course of both of these maps.
And if I'm not mistaken, Carry Puppy is just one away from the Viper's Pit herself. So it seems like they want to go and contest for this orb over here. We have two players on this A site this time around. Adversary, the first to make first contact once again, gets taken out by Zenny. It's all up to Nora trying to hold on to side, finds the first, but unfortunately will fall to the trade of Carry Poppy. This barrier orb though, making things difficult for Periwinkle, but nonetheless, she managed to get it. Shiloh picking up Atsui. Managed to get the resurrection online, and Adversary brought back to life. Carry Poppy, Viper's Pit is doing so much work for them right now as both Carry Poppy and Periwinkle, they hold down this crossfire. But these players go in, it's such a difficult situation. This slow up stalls the swing coming in from Periwinkle, but both these players playing in Viper's Pit, it gets shut down instantly as Adversary able to find a Viper in the midst of all things. It's the flashpoint to try and deny and delay the time, but it's too late for Periwinkle as Ohana Excelsior, they pick up the last round and a half off the back of well-timed resurrection.
Yeah, this time around, Shiloh manages to get it in time for the rest to find a lot of value, and this pick onto Asui was so crucial because not only did it give the resurrection, it also denied all the breach utility coming in, and this is just a beautiful diffuse. At first she was like, yo, you stick it, it's okay, I got it, I got 2 flashes, I got a concuss, I got everything in the world to throw at poor Periwinkle, and that's exactly what happens. The diffuse gets stuck, and it is going to be a 5-7 half. Honestly not bad considering that they were on defense. This is a map that tends to be very attacker sided, especially considering the comp that Ohana Excelsior is running. This is their chance at really being able to make a comeback and force a map 3 out of No Game Sense, assuming that they can get through whatever defense that these guys put through. It seems like yet again it's going to be B, which is the approach of choice here as they make their way forward, and Periwinkle's headhunter is going to be the first point of contact.
But Adversary already making her way. Okay, I don't think she expects 2 players here has to rendezvous away to safety. But the Pain Shell is going to deny some space here. Nora finds the first, but Zenny is good for the trade. Even finds one more through the smoke onto Shimo.
Although strikes back and is able to get up to a really healthy HP. It's all down to just Carry Poppy on the lurk, knows where the spike is, does spot out the Reyna, is able to get the kill. No! Tall manages to do the 150 HP, proving too much for Carry Poppy to really chew through before Tall flicks over and gets a shot, and off the back of the Ohana Excelsior, they get the pistol yet again.
This is a good start for them coming into this half. They're able to buy up these Spectres once again, just a full shield. So a safe round coming through from No Game Sense. What they're looking for is just to try and get these weapons off the hands of Ohana Excelsior. As many of these weapons as possible. It seems like with the pings coming through, they want to go for this fast A execute this time around off the back of that Stim Beacon, and the Leer coming through. Atsui trying to delay this push from coming in, but Nora is too far too forward. Then he gets taken out, but Carry Poppy in this close corner. She doesn't get spotted, but she's gonna find one before getting taken down herself. Adversary picks up the kill, and numbers advantage right now in the favor of Ohana Excelsior.
Yeah, they also have the weapons, not just more people. And Seraphine, unfortunately, the smoke goes away at the worst time possible as Hawk, yet again, able to find so much value. It's all down to just Periwinkle. We've seen her hit some nutty shots before with this Headhunter, but with 34 HP left, a 1v3 to close out, and the clock still ticking, it's gonna make things very difficult for her right now. The best she can hope to do is probably do as much economic damage as possible. At least all the players, they did manage to take down 2 players from the side of Ohana Excelsior, so that is gonna be 2 Spectres dropped at the very least, but he still managed to hold on to 3. And I think that in this bonus, it's not entirely hopeless for them, considering that Spectres, especially in a lot of close range fights, can prove to be very lethal and devastating. So at least for the side of NGS, they will have their full buy next round, and they're at this equal score of 7-7. They're facing a lot of pressure to really try and convert it here.
Adversary actually opting for the Vandal. This time around, Ohana Excelsior, they want to head towards this B side instead. Periwinkle finally wins that gunfight, wins out the second one as well onto Adversary. That's 2 players from the side of Ohana Excelsior taken down.
Gun here.
And the rotation is going to come in. Shimo does spot a weapon upgrade.
Gun here.
There is also the Vandal, which seems to be what Shima wants to go for, but in that process, it's going to walk right into the crosshairs of Seraphine. Unfortunately, yet again, it is Seraphine finding the better of her Brimstone counterpart. And while all this is happening on that B side, A is going to be where the hit comes in, but Carry Poppy is still going to be playing in this close angle, and this time around, she has a judge. So I'm feeling a little bit worried about these players' chances right now. Already, Carry Poppy finding one, gets a second as well, and suddenly it is going to be things changing over a flawless for No Game Sense as they take the lead once again.
I think this round was essentially what they need to try and
One enemy remaining.
establish a little bit of momentum and stop the money situation from getting too out of hand from the side of Ohana Excelsior. And off the back of that, the timeout once again from the side of Ohana Excelsior. They really have to be able to convert this coming buy round to prevent No Game Sense from making this making the situation into kind of like a snowball situation. And off the back of that, they do have the null command online and ready to be activated in their favor, so they could look to go for a fast execute once again off the back of a steam beacon.
Really is. I mean, they don't have much of a... They will have their full buy coming in, and they're going to be dealing with the same from No Game Sense as well, because they didn't lose a single player, so they're all going to still have their rifles. I think that they barely managed to do a little bit of chip damage to armor for the Viper as well as the Chamber from No Game Sense, but apart from that, the economy is looking extremely healthy right now for them. If they can win this round as well, they won't have to worry about money for a while, and Adversary, having forced in on that last round, is going to be put in a very unenviable position. Only a Frenzy to really work with, as the rest of the team is going to be buying in, and it's going to put them in a rough position. They do have that null command from Nora though to try and make their way forward and push through. You can already see Tom running down towards the dish, trying to get Adversary possibly an extra gun here. That Boombot is going to be going down on top of everything else to try and ensure that A main stays a little bit safe. It is going to be the null command invested, but Atsui is still able to find that first bullet, does get traded out, and Ta will be able to peek with the help of that dismiss. Nevertheless though, No Game Sense still do have the numbers advantage at the very least, and they don't check the site yet again. The judge strikes Carry Poppy, not afraid to go through, and I think that they might be able to actually get the KO up if they are careful, but Periwinkle makes her way over and shuts down any kind of idea. Oh my god, that was some insane timing coming in from her.
Just in the nick of time, she arrives. She's able to find a couple of frags off the back of that, securing the round or the round win for the team. And off the back of that, once again, Ohana Excelsior money situation not looking good. They do have the Empress and they just one away from their Rolling Thunder, but other than that, not much being invested here. On the other side though, Carry Poppy still with this judge in hand. It's been proven to be so lethal for her so far, but Henrico actually gonna get spotted out by Tao here. Rendezvous back to safety, but not before getting tagged up a little bit.
Yeah, at least it's gonna be the armor off that particular player.
Oh,
Tall fighting
that's
their
the
way
head.
forward. Yeah, that's the head, alright. Yep, off the back of that, they try to push forward. Can't they get the second? No, Zeddy's gonna deny that, but so much damage being done by Tall here. Finding a kill, doing so much damage to Zeddy. And Adversary, in the meantime, has made their way up towards Tower. Has a Rolling Thunder as well, but like you said, I don't think we'll be seeing any of these ults really being committed towards this side right now. And Adversary on this late lurk might be able to find a lot of value as long as they're careful to clear out Zenny, because otherwise they might find Zenny right at their back. Hearing all this noise coming in towards this A side is going to cause the Viper's Pit to be committed by Carry Poppy, who is feeling better safe than sorry. Immediately trigger a rotation back. Adversary is able to pick up that rifle though, and just off the back of that no game sense, they are at a numerical disadvantage. Zenny though, still holding the corner, is able to cause the spike to drop and still has the paint shows as well, trying to buy as much time as possible for the rotation to come through and deny the spike from going down. The flash is perfect, but they don't push off the back of that, and Zenny is still going to be available, alive to find value here. It's all down to Adversary in this 1v2 Rolling Thunder versus Showstopper. It's going to be Carry Poppy though, who says, look, you guys can mess around with your ults. I'm going to be the one to get the headshot, and no game sense. They find 10.
I think Zeddy really found a timing right there. And okay, the showstopper the showstopper Rolling Thunder, unfortunately for it didn't connect, but it was very fun to watch.
It looked
This is
really
not-
awkward.
Yeah. You just see the rays flying through the air and then she gets knocked back. This time around, tour de force utilized by the side of no game sense. Ohana Excelsior seem to want to go in for a fast execute, but they get instantly denied by that aftershock as well as the fault line. Still trying to push their way through though. Nora, as well as Tao, first off into the round, but Shimo is the one who clears up side. Tao good for another as well. Empress top. Almost trying to come through for the side of Ohana. For the side of no game sense as well. Denies the spike plant. The Periwinkle from the back. Able to pick up one.
I have the spike.
Zenny gets spotted out. Both these players
Teleport's ready.
on the side. Periwinkle notes the position
Spike
of
planted.
one.
Zenny is super low here, and Tall has the Empress popped as well, so that's going to be additional fire rate as well as her being able to dismiss and get in much faster. As I say that though, that fades away, so Periwinkle yet again is in the position of doing a lot of this heavy lifting here. Putting down that chamber utility is going to give away her position. Tall being able to find both headshots, in fact, keep Ohana Excelsior in this game as they try to make the comeback and bridge the gap between these rounds. 8 to 10 right now, and Tall with 3k to her name, hitting the most clean shots ever. You know, I think they messed up that sage wall, but it actually proved to be quite good because it let them get the spike down, and also like block off that main angle, which is very pivotal when you're pushing in with something like a tour de force there. This time around though, it is going to be the economy still good for both of these teams, and in particular it's excellent for Ohana Excelsior because they managed to win the round, so they will have more of a buy to work with. Everybody on board, in fact, with rifles, so that might be the difference maker they need. Yet again, it is going to be towards drop where the aggression comes in. You hear the running coming through, but Saw still manages to get that first pick. Wow, Taw is on fire today.
And that's exactly what you want to see from your Reina player, right? Just finding those initial picks off the back, heading on to the side, finding a couple more, and still being able to heal back up and take even more aggressive fights off the back of that. And she even knows that Periwinkle might be coming in from the flank. Unfortunately, she's going to be falling down to that, but the rest of the players of Ohana Excelsior, they're going to be making their way onto the side. This time around, they do check Carry Poppy's location. Position, Shiloh takes her out in the right direction. Once again available, but unlikely to be invested. Adversary though, waiting for the flank from Periwinkle.
One enemy remaining.
Shimo catches the timing onto Seraphine's all up to Asui, gets flashed up as well by a counterpart breach. Nishimo coming in from the back. So much for her to do, but she's unable to find anything at all as adversary is gonna take her out. Ohana, Excelsior, and 9.
They really don't want to give up, and I can't blame them because if they can't afford to lose this map. If they lose this, they're gonna be placing second, and they're gonna be losing the grand finals. So there's currently a lot on the line here for them. As for No Game Sense, though, they're probably feeling the pressure bounce up because they're only one round in the lead, and their economy has started to sort of fall apart here already. You can see Seraphine wondering what exactly to buy because there's not much in the tank left. You see 3 armors, 3 players on light armor as well to top things off. So things looking a little bit rough right now for these players from No Game Sense. They will still have a buy for this round though, as much as they can muster. They also have some ults to work with, such as the Rolling Thunder from Atsui. Already, it is going to be her pushed off this angle though, forced to fall back because of the smokes as well as that Lear really coming in her way. Carry Puppy is going to be on this site and it's going to be a player to really be very careful about. Periwinkle finds one, Carry Puppy finds the timing. Can she get more is going to be the question. Gets 2 to her name already, still alive, still a mess. Gets a kill with the last bullet. It's all down to the Reyna here. Tall has to do so much, and this time around though, it's going to be Zenny finding the better, saying dual stuff, and it is going to be round number 11 for No Game Sense. Carry Puppy going unchecked there was so huge. Look at this.
One enemy remaining.
Last bullet
A.
to land a nail in the coffin on the Shimo is absolutely insane, and she just when her team needed her the most, she really stepped up right there with 3 kills in the round, able to stop this fast aggression coming in from Ohana Excelsior. And off the back of that, they're gonna be forced into a half buy once again with all these specters. They do have quite a number of ultimates to work with though. Tao already has the Empress back online, and now Command as well as the Resurrection can prove to be so strong in these situations. And if they're able to get a spike down, they also have that Arbor Strike to work with. And Tao going exploring here down arcade. Periwinkle is holding this close angle once again. She might peek into a couple of players here if she's not careful. Spots out one. That's all she finds. She's gonna get smoked out as well. Ooh.
Zenny though still finds the first blood and manages to hold on to this aggressive angle, getting the second pick in fact off the back of that. 2 players already down, and sure, they have the resurrection, but I don't know if they really want to be investing it in this particular round, considering that, like you mentioned, it is a half buy. They have 3 ultimates left to work with though, the Orbital Strike, the Rolling Thunder, and the Resurrection. And considering that the score is 11-9, they might in fact go in for that res towards this A site here. But 30 seconds left though, they have to go somewhere, because otherwise it is going to be things looking very rough right now. Shimo makes a little bit of a fake towards the side, but it is going to be Seraphine who they walk into, finding 2. It's all down to Shimo. They know where she was. They know that she has to come for the spike, and with 13 seconds left, what can she do is the question. Can she at least take down Seraphine? She does manage to find 1 kill, but Zenny is going to be there for the trade. Then off the back of that No Game Sense, they find match point and a series point.
Match point.
A lot of pressure being built up on the shoulders of the players of Ohana Excelsior right now. Just 1 away from losing the series. They really have to invest everything that they have into this round, and they have all 5 ultimates to work with as well.
It might be what they need. Yeah.
Yeah. Fast execute once again coming in from these players, but the fall line instantly stalls them. Malcolm to come through for Ohana Excelsior as well, and Carry Puppy's positioning might hold so much value. She's gonna get flashed up by Nora, who takes her down, and Tao and the rest of the players of Ohana Excelsior making their way onto the site. No game sense. They have to play for this retake instead.
Spike planted.
Ooh. It's going to be a 3v5 though. Periwinkle on the flank has to find a lot of value. Does manage to find one. That's going to be the Orbital Strike offline. The Rolling Thunder gets checked as well, but adversary's position is so important. It's going to completely deny that Showstopper finding value. It's going to be just Periwinkle left in this 1v2 situation. Does manage to spot out the KO, but is going to be hit with that concussion and eventually taken down. 10-12 in Ohana Excelsior. They're only 2 away from taking this to overtime yet again, but it's such a long road that they have to walk here, having used 2 of their ults to really try to convert that round. They still have 3 major ults left in their pocket though. They have that Rolling Thunder, the Orbital Strike, and the Resurrection available. As for the side of NGS, well, you saw what happened to that showstopper. Apart from that, though, they had an Orbital Strike to possibly deny the plant, so they just need to win one more round. Just one.
Just one is all they need, and this time around, Ohana Excelsior want to go in for this fast B execute instead. Tao already hit for the spear, leading charge off the back of this Rolling Thunder, pushing her way onto the side. It seems like once again, NGS, they might want to go in for this retake, but Zenny has something to say about it. Though adversary gets taken down, but Shimo is there for the trade. Resurrection will come through. Shimo trying to go aggressive here, but Seraphim picks up 2 off the back of a well-timed Orbital Strike, as well as the Spectre, the 3rd in the round as well. And they close it out in fashion as Sui and Periwinkle both find pigs on their own, and that's no game sense, taking map and series point to become the champions of this tournament.
A flawless round. That they didn't lose a single map though. To be fair, the previous matches were all best of ones, but this particular series, they really did not give any ground to the side of these players from Ohana Excelsior, who tried really hard, by the way. Both of these maps were really close. 14-12 was the first one, and 13-10 is the second. And Zenny in particular on this particular map, 8 first splits to her name. Ta on the Reina doing everything she could to keep things alive for the side of Ohana Excelsior. But ultimately, I think the team coordination from the players of No Game Sense was just too much for them to really tackle. Especially, you saw towards the last round the kind of crossfires they were holding, the kind of trades that they were really able to get, and finding so much value off the back of the utility that they were using. I think that No Game Sense, they just proved to be the better team today.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Winning out that first map in overtime on Ohana Excelsior's map pick really gave them that confidence boost coming into this next game, right? And Ohana Excelsior, credit to them, they didn't falter even though they did lose out on a map pick. They tried to come back into this as strong as possible, and they did put up a great performance as well, so kudos to them.
Definitely, but at the end of the day, we can have only one victor, and that is going to be No Game Sense for the September edition of VCT Game Changers Academy. Congratulations to them. They're going to be walking away with the $250 first place prize, and I think they'll be feeling very happy with themselves. Anyway, though, I think that is going to be it for today from us. I'm Zahk, and with me here is Gremmyz. This is VCT Game Changers Academy APAC, and we will be seeing you back next time pretty soon, or for Elite, which is coming up next month, if I'm not wrong, October 1st. So get ready.